I was engaged for 6 months when I caught my fiance cheating on me through our Ring front door camera, and this is the story time. So at this time, I was 25 years old. I had been engaged for 6 months, and my fiance was 29. He was actually turning 30 as this whole thing happened. And to celebrate his 30th birthday, I took us both on a trip to Beverly Hills. We had a good trip, and we got back on a Sunday evening, and I went to work the next day. On Mondays, I went into the office and he would work from home. So I go into the office, I have a day at work, and when I got home, my house felt weird. I felt like I could tell someone had been in my house. But I'd been cheated on before, so I was telling myself, calm down, like, relax. But you can just tell when something is off. Like, my purse had been put up in the closet, which was weird. And I just had the feeling that someone had been inside my home. Something important to note is that we had just moved into this home. It was a 4-bedroom rental, and we had been there for less than 30 days. We had just moved in, and my fiance had decided that he wanted to install a front door camera and a security system. So we were still on the 30-day.
Why did I just kick my nigga out? Because I didn't call him cheating. So boom, I'm at this restaurant and I'm just sitting there chilling and eating. So as I'm chilling, I see this nigga walk in. Not only did he walk in with a female. And they was holding hands and shit. So as I'm watching them, they being like extra friendly and just like flirting and shit. Like they literally look like a damn couple. So I had to take a double look because I'm like, that looked like my nigga. And I remember earlier that day, my nigga told me that he had to go run some errands and that he would be in the house a little bit later. They go and they get seated. Mind you, I'm all the way in the back in the booth and they in the front in the booth. So she goes into the booth first and then he goes in after her. So they back is literally turned towards me. So I'm sitting there watching this shit and I see her go in and give him a kiss. So bitch, at this point, they being a little bit too friendly. I'm seeing her hugging and kissing on my nigga, and bitch, at this point, I am furious because I'm like, this can't be him. He literally...
Okay, I am a short story long type of gal, so don't say I didn't warn you, but I'm going to make this one, part 1 of the story y'all really want me to fucking tell, where my ex cheated on me with one of her bridesmaids who was also one of our best friends, and then my divorce lasted longer than my marriage. I also literally have my laptop in front of me because if there's one thing about me, it's that I have the fucking receipts. Another important thing about me is that I have ADHD, so I'm gonna try really hard to stay on track, but no promises. And you might be wondering, wow, how the fuck did she mobilize so quickly into telling us this story? Well, as I said, my divorce lasted 2 fucking years, and it ended in a hearing. So it was finalized in May, I just recently did prep for the hearing, so I have all of this shit detailed out. And now that my divorce is finalized and I never have to fucking see or speak to her again, I'm gonna tell you. We'll start with the day I found out. Okay, so this is May 2024. I get a text in the morning from my sister that says, can you let me know when you wrap up the day and FaceTime me? I got a weird email that I want to run by you. I just say yeah. She was in grad school at the time. She had been applying to jobs. I kind of just assumed she wanted me to look over something work-related. I didn't think anything of it. So I ended up being really busy at work.
Get ready with me while I talk about how I got cheated on by my boyfriend of 2 years, 2 days before my birthday. Basically, me and my boyfriend had been together since September of 2023. We never had any problems with disloyalty, and we basically both agreed that cheating was bad and it's like not a good thing to do to a person. One day in October, I checked his location and I noticed he wasn't in class. So I asked him, I was like, what's going on? Why aren't you in class? And he basically tells me that he had a long night and he was very tired. So basically, I get out of class and he tells me that when we get back to his place, we're gonna talk about it. I trusted him with my life. But when we get there, he basically tells me he was struggling with an addiction. Obviously, I was still hurt by it, but I thought it was something we could work through. So I spent the day just trying to reassure him that it was gonna be okay. I just wanted him to be honest with me. Fast forward to the next day, I'm walking to my bus to get to school. He tells me that he needs to talk to me more. He picks me up from campus and we drive to a park. When we get there, he lets me know that the night before he told me anything, more went on than just...
If you've ever been cheated on, trust me, you're not alone. These stories are proof that it happens to damn near everybody. Do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe. It helps the channel way more than you know. Now let's get into it.
I found out my boyfriend was cheating on me for over a year with his coworker, part 1. But first, I need to give you a bit of context on the relationship because it does matter. So June 2023, I'm in a Greek island and this guy sits next to me on a public bus and he just starts talking to me. The conversation isn't flirty at all. It's just like a nice conversation with a stranger. And he tells me he's from Detroit, Michigan. I'm from Sydney, Australia, and didn't think much of it. We add each other on Instagram and I don't hear from him for 6 months. And then in December 2023, he messages me out of nowhere saying he's coming to Sydney with his aunt and uncle and was asking for recommendations and also to just catch up. So New Year's Eve 2023, I meet up with him and basically for that whole week he was in Sydney, I saw him pretty much every single day. And then he went on to other Australian cities and was still FaceTiming me and messaging me every single day. He goes back to the US and I figured that things will just fizzle out, but they didn't. This guy continues to FaceTime me, message me every single day. He was ordering flowers for me. He was sending me money randomly and saying, go get a nice lunch. This continues for months, and then he tells me about an upcoming work trip he has in March in Seattle, so on the west coast of the US. And he asked me if I'd be willing to fly over for the weekend. I was a bit unsure, so he just ends up buying the ticket and tells me it's completely up to me whether I want to use it or not. Anyway, I end up going. He asked me to be his girlfriend on this trip. And honestly, he just seems like the most wonderful man. He seems like he was kind, self-reflective, super empathetic. He cared for his family. He also had a super great job, and so he just seemed like a really hard-working, determined person. He would constantly put in a lot of effort despite it being long distance. Like, honestly, it would put a low-effort man into a coma, the amount of things he was doing. He also shared his location with me before we were even official, and he was never ever secretive with his phone. When I was in Detroit, he would also introduce me to all his friends and family, and that's just not something you do with a Middle Eastern family unless it's serious, right? He always made an effort to come and see me in Sydney. He probably came like 7 or 8 times during the course of our relationship. We would often meet in other cities, whether that was in the US, it was South America, Asia, Europe. I would also travel to the US quite often. Just last month, it was my 10th trip to the US. And these are really long travel days. It's 24 hours to get from Sydney to Detroit. So I was spending a lot of time traveling. So that's who I thought he was. And then in May 2025, a new coworker joins his team. And I don't know how to explain it, but the second he told me about her, I had a gut feeling. But that's part 2. Okay, part 2 of how I found out my ex was cheating on me with his coworker for over a year. So May 2025, this coworker starts working and I have this gut feeling. It feels completely unwarranted, so I just decide to ignore it. Quick note that I'm telling this story in the way I experienced it, so I'm going to have to circle back because there is a lot going on behind the scenes that I was not made aware of until a couple weeks ago. So we're in May last year, and over the next 6 months, I noticed he starts going to dinner with his coworkers way more frequently than he had been, multiple times a week at this point. And I genuinely remember thinking, do these coworkers not have families to go home to? Like, how are they doing this multiple nights a week? Like, go home, you know? Anyway, I thought it was a bit sus, but I had no reason not to trust him. So I was like, all right, whatever, team bonding. Woohoo. At the end of last year, I fly to Detroit and arrive the day after Christmas, and he gifts me a Ultra Miami ticket of a festival that's a few months away. Anyway, it's the early hours of New Year's Day and I can't sleep, and I'm still having this weird feeling. So I open his Belly account, which is an app where you review restaurants and you post photos of what you order. He had always been super active on it, but I noticed that he wasn't posting on it every single time he went out with his coworkers, which seemed unusual for him. So from his account, I click on her profile, let's call her Zoe, and I'm scrolling through her reviews, right? And that's where I find it. There's a few posts where it's just the two of them. And he always told me these were group dinners, and not once did he tell me he was alone with her. And the photos, like, they looked like they were on an actual date. It was at a nice restaurant, just the two of them. So I'm obviously like, what the hell? So I check their messages and call logs and see that they're constantly talking. I also see that she bought tickets to Ultra Miami and they were going back and forth talking about how excited they were. And I found this really weird because when he gifted me the ticket a few days ago, he never mentioned that his coworker was going as well. And I feel like that's something you would bring up. Anyway, he wakes up and I decide to confront him about the dinners, and he acts like he has no idea what I'm talking about. I show him the post and he goes, oh my God, I completely forgot about this. Which, by the way, is a pattern with him. He would always forget unless you had the proof right in front of him. He explains the situation away, saying it was supposed to be a group dinner, but everyone cancelled and it ended up just being him and her, and he never told me because he knew it would look bad and he didn't want me to worry about it. And then, completely unprompted, he himself offered to completely cut her off outside of anything unwork related. That included not going to any work dinners that she was at, talking to her outside of work, everything. Honestly, I thought it was a bit dramatic given the situation, but figured he was just trying to fix this, so I believed him. Over the next few months, he'd bring it up here and there, reassuring me that he was keeping his promise and was not talking to her outside of anything unwork related. Meanwhile, I never told him about the messages I had seen about the festival. I decided to wait and see if he would tell me himself. I'd purposefully bring it up in conversations every so often just to give him an opening, but he never took it. Story will continue in part 3.
Why did I just kick my nigga out? Because I didn't call him cheating. So boom, I'm at this restaurant and I'm just sitting there chilling and eating. So as I'm chilling, I see this nigga walk in. Not only did he walk in, he walked in with a female. And they was holding hands and shit. So as I'm watching them, they being like extra friendly and just like flirting and shit. Like they literally look like a damn couple. So I had to take a double look because I'm like, that looked like my nigga. And I remember earlier that day, my nigga told me that he had to go run some errands and that he would be in the house a little bit later. They go and they get seated. Mind you, I'm all the way in the back in the booth and they in the front in the booth. So she goes into the booth first and then he goes in after her. So they back is literally turned towards me. So I'm sitting there watching this shit and I see her go in and give him a kiss. So bitch, at this point, they being a little bit too friendly. I'm seeing her hugging and kissing on my nigga and bitch, at this point, I am furious because I'm like, this can't be him. He literally just told me he was running errands and that he will be back in the house later, but this nigga at a restaurant with another bitch. So I take my phone out, bitch. I'm taking pictures and shit because I need evidence. I need to be able to use this shit against him just in case he try to deny this shit. Bitch, I got proof of this shit. So I guess she told him like she had to go to the bathroom because they both getting up. So as she getting up, bitch, I see him go in for a little filly. So bitch, I'm mad at this point. So they go and they walking towards me, right? Because they headed to the bathroom. So, bitch, as he approaches my section, this nigga look at me and was like, oh, shit. Yeah, nigga, oh, shit, bitch, you done got caught. Nigga, I done caught you in 4K. So I'm like, hey, babe, what you doing here? And he like, oh, my gosh. So she looking like, what you mean, oh, my gosh? I'm like, yeah, this my nigga. Y'all on a date or some shit? So he like, man, don't start this shit. So, bitch, they go and they argue and they going back and forth and shit. So, bitch, I told him, I'm like, yeah, come home and come get your shit because you getting up out my place. So, y'all, I'm talking about that shit went down up in there. It was a whole scene. Bitch, I told the waiter, I need my check. So, bitch, I go home. I'm zooming home. So, yeah, I pack his shit up and I put that shit by the door. And I told him, I said, when you get home, get your shit and get out. You gotta go. So, bitch, he crying. I'm talking about this man is begging and crying and shit. So I'm like, if you don't get your shit and get out of my house, I'm calling the people. So he get his shit. He leave, right? Bitch, why before he came, I was on a date with another nigga. Old dude ends up getting a call saying that he had an emergency and he had to leave. So, bitch, whole time, we both was out there cheating. The only difference is he got caught and I didn't. And, bitch, until this day, that nigga don't know I was cheating on him, too. The only difference was my nigga left a little bit earlier than he did. And he was the one that got caught.
Okay, y'all, this is a story time about how I found out my nigga was cheating on me with his ex. That's why I just come with your ex dead already. I don't even play. This story time not to bash nobody. I'm just telling story time for my page. If you know my ex and you feel away, I don't give a fuck. Y'all can't do nothing to me. You, him, them, I don't give a fuck. Boom, y'all. So me and this nigga was talking or whatever, and he was really my first boyfriend because, like, I was a late bloomer. Like, I didn't have my first boyfriend until I was 19. And I'm about to be 22, y'all. So this is kind of recent. So anywho, he used to go to the gym and shit like that. And everybody know that Planet Fitness is closed at 10 p.m. on the weekends. He had asked me early on that day that I want to go to the gym with him. And I'm like, yeah. And, like, he normally don't really ask me because he, like, doing his own workout. So I'm like, okay, I'll go with you. Sure, I don't mind. I'm at his house. After dinner, he like, oh, you know what? Like, you don't have to come anymore. Like, I'm just go with my friend. He had this friend he used to always go to the gym with. He go to the gym. I'm minding my business. Once it hit 10 o'clock, I'm still minding my business because I don't know what you're doing. It hit 10:30. Mind you, I have his location. It's still at the gym. Minding my business. It hit 11 o'clock. Bitch, I don't got time. Bitch, where you at? So I call this man. He shoot me the voicemail. Call him again. Shoot me the voicemail. So I text him like, what's up with you? Like, what's going on? He talk about some, oh, I'm just going through a lot, babe. Like, I just need to clear my mind. Nigga, come to the house and sit outside and clear your mind. I don't play. And I'm all about space and relationship. I'm all about space. Like, sometimes I need my space. It's some days where I literally don't want to be in a man's presence. I just don't. So I let him slide. I'm literally praying for him because I'm a prayer warrior. I'm literally praying for him. I remember this night verbatim. I'm praying for this man mental health. Now, y'all, it's going on 2 in the morning. I have to be up at 6 in the morning. I'm still up waiting for this boy to walk in the door because I'm worried about him. So now I'm really getting crazy. Like, don't play with me. I don't let people play with me. So I'm like, send me a picture of your passenger seat because I'm already like, I got a feeling. He don't send a picture. It's going on 2:30. He texts me like, I'm on my way. I'm like, okay, I'm about to sit up till you get here. This man get in the bed. He get in the house. I'm laying down. He just acting all lovey-dovey, trying to just hug. And I'm just giving him the cold shoulder because, like, nigga, I don't know what you been doing. I don't play that shit, like sleeping around with people. That shit is nasty. That don't make you pee. That shit nasty as fuck. Move. So I turn head to toe and I go to sleep because I don't even have the mental capacity to deal with this shit at 3 in the morning and I got to be up in 3 hours. Mind y'all, this boy know I hate driving. Like, till this day, I cannot stand driving. I would rather somebody drive. I don't care. So he been on nice like, oh, baby, you don't got to drive to work in the morning. I'm going to take you. I'm like, cool. He should never did that because this is what fucked him up. I get in this boy car. Mind you, he drives a Charger, so the shit is compact. Like, it's small in the front. Like, you know how them cars is. I smell so much fucking cologne, y'all. Like, the shit smells terrible. Like, you know when somebody stink and they put on a bunch of perfume, or that's what I smell in this fucking car. Soon as I got in the car, I rolled the windows all the way down, and it was kind of cold outside, and I'm just feeling the air 6 in the morning. I'm irritated as fuck. He's still trying to be lovey-dovey, talk about, oh, I'm going to stop and get you coffee. Baby, I was going to go to work and get coffee, all that shit by myself. I didn't need none of that shit you was on. So when I got to work, I'm just feeling so uneasy, y'all. At that time, I had a real, like, busy job, so I couldn't even, I couldn't even think. So I'm not going to lie. I went and I told them that it was a death in my family and I had to go home. I did. I'm sorry. And I called my auntie. My auntie, I'm really, really close to my auntie, like, for real. I'll call my auntie. I'm like, auntie, he cheating on me. She knew him. I'm like, he cheating on me. And I just started breaking out crying. She like, come to my house. Where you at? I'm like, I'm not even driving right now. She like, I'm about to call you an Uber. So my auntie called me an Uber and I went to her house. When I got to her house, I texted him and said, I know you cheated on me. I just left work. Like, he like called me. I call him. He like, please, Monique, whatever you do, don't do nothing crazy. I'm about to get off work so we can talk. What you mean, don't do nothing crazy? Nigga, I never came crash out behind no nigga. Fuck what you talk about. The craziest shit I'm about to do is leave you. I don't play the disloyal shit at all. I don't play that shit. You get no second chances with me. So he get off work. He come pick me up from my auntie house. We get to the park, y'all. He tell me like, yes, like, but we didn't do nothing. All she wanted to do was work out. She just wanted me to help her lose weight and blasey, blasey, blasey. And I'm literally sitting there with a straight face. I got up, I took my phone. I said, I'm done with you. I started walking off. I'm like, I'm done with you. I'm cool. Go be with the bitch you want to be with. Don't have me in the mix of none of that nasty ass shit. I don't play like that. So he like, no, Monique. This nigga starts crying real tears like, what the fuck I'm supposed to do? She making me do this. Nigga, she making you cheat. Get the fuck on. He crying and shit. I'm looking at him like, baby, I'm raised by my dad. That shit you doing right now, my dad told me about all the shit you niggas like to pull. You can get the fuck off your knees, go to your car, pull up, go to the bitch house, go to a hotel, go to your mama. I don't know where the fuck you can go or where you want to go, but you got to get the fuck out my face, for real. But that nigga is blowing my shit down for days and 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 days. He even offered me a car. He like, oh, you had this car, da 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 da. And I'm just like, I'm straight on you. I'm straight on you. But yes, that's how I caught a nigga cheating. And it's like, now after that, I have not been in another relationship after that, y'all.
Okay. I am a short story long type of gal, so don't say I didn't warn you, but I am going to make this one, part 1 of the story y'all really want me to fucking tell, where my ex cheated on me with one of her bridesmaids who was also one of our best friends, and then my divorce lasted longer than my marriage. I also literally have my laptop in front of me because if there's one thing about me, it's that I have the fucking receipts. Another important thing about me is that I have ADHD, so I'm gonna try really hard to stay on track, but no promises. And you might be wondering, wow, how the fuck did she mobilize so quickly into telling us this story? Well, as I said, my divorce lasted 2 fucking years, and it ended in a hearing. So it was finalized in May, I just recently did prep for the hearing, so I have all of this shit detailed out. And now that my divorce is finalized and I never have to fucking see or speak to her again, I'm gonna tell you. We'll start with the day I found out. Okay, so this is May 2024. I get a text in the morning from my sister that says, "Can you let me know when you wrap up the day and FaceTime me? I got a weird email that I want to run by you." I just say yeah. She was in grad school at the time. She had been applying to jobs. I kind of just assumed she wanted me to look over something work related. I didn't think anything of it. So I ended up being really busy at work that day and I forgot to say anything to her. So she texted me again at the end of the work day and said, "What time do you typically wrap up?" And I'm like, damn girl, can you relax? Like, it's not that deep. What I actually said was that I just finished up and I could call her now. So we get on a FaceTime and immediately I know that something is wrong because of the look on her face. And this girl fucking loves FaceTime and usually jumps immediately into a story or starts asking me a question. She didn't say anything at first, and I immediately said, "What's wrong? Are you okay?" Because she literally looked like she needed me to help her hide a body or something. And you know what the first fucking thing she said to me was? She said, "Are you alone?" Red fucking flag. And for the sake of this whole thing, we're gonna call my ex-wife Emma, and we'll refer to the mistress slash ex-best friend slash bridesmaid as Amanda. At this point, I'm in the kitchen FaceTiming her, and I'm technically alone, but my ex-wife is upstairs. So she was like, "I just wanna make sure that Emma's not around." And so I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, literally, what's happening? I thought this was about work. Again, the vibes are fucking off. Like, something is wrong. So I'm very confused. So she goes on to tell me that she goes into work that morning and she has an email sent from around 9:30 the night before from a person she doesn't know. The subject is Natalie and Emma. And again, they sent this to her work email. So she goes to read the email and it says, "Hi, I am so sorry to be the one sending you this information, but I believe it is the right thing to do. Emma has cheated on Natalie for some time now with their friend Amanda. I don't know any information beyond this. I am so sorry again." I don't really react, which was very fucking unsettling for her. Now, part of the reason that I didn't really react was because I am extremely close with Amanda at this point. The three of us are super close. And so I'm like, this is fucking stupid. There's no way that this is true. And then I started to sit with it for a second and I was like, well, why would somebody email this at all? And why would they email my sister? If they were trying to fuck with me, wouldn't they just tell me? And then I sat with it a little bit more and I was like, we're in our fucking 30s and I'm married. Like, people aren't bullying each other and stirring up drama for no reason. And then I started thinking, well, even if they weren't doing anything weird, like, somebody clearly saw something or heard something to make them want to email me this. But again, I'm like, this is one of my best friends and my wife. Like, this is not a real thing. I want to be clear that me and my ex at this point were having a very, very challenging time during our marriage. Fucking shocker, but also just in life in general. We had a lot going on. So she had been spending a lot of time at this friend's apartment. She would go there to take space. She would go there before appointments, which I'll get into later, but she was spending a lot of time at her apartment. So I'm thinking this is probably just a misunderstanding. So we go back and forth a little bit, but then I start to hear my ex-wife come downstairs. So I take my phone, I go out into the backyard, and I tell my sister, I'm like, I can't talk to you about this anymore. I will text you. And she was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, like, but I'll text you." When I go back inside, my ex is like, what's going on? What was that about? Who is that? And I was like, "Oh, it was my sister," and just was like, I was trying to play it cool, but also like wasn't prepared to be lying to her. And she was like, "Well, what were you talking about?" And I was like, "Oh, nothing, like, it's personal, just something." And she was like, "Well, what was it?" And to her credit, like, I used to tell her everything. So it would have been weird for me to withhold information from her. I was like, it's just something personal. She doesn't want me to talk about it yet. And for some weird reason, my ex just lets it go. We go out, like, about our night. It was a normal night. Nothing else really happened. And I continued texting my sister. And I had also texted one of my best friends at the time. We'll call her Cassie. And Cassie had been aware of the challenges that we were having in our marriage, the way that my ex had been treating me, the things that she had been doing, the amount of time that she had been spending with Amanda. And interestingly enough, probably 4 months before this moment in time, Cassie had told me that she thought something was going on between the two of them and was concerned that she was cheating on me. I brushed it off because, again, Amanda's one of my closest friends. The three of us were always hanging out. Like, that would be fucking insane, right? So being the internet sleuth that I typically am, I start diving into socials trying to figure out who this person is. I'm not gonna reveal the email because I don't want to, like, pin anything on anyone innocent on social media, but I did find someone whose Instagram username was very similar to the email and was a mutual friend follower to one of my best friend's boyfriends. So I was like, the age range matches up, the username matches up, there's a mutual, they obviously could have gossiped about something or saw something or been together. Lock the fuck in, I know who this person is. I also had decided I was just gonna email them back. So I had my sister forward me the email because I didn't want her in the fucking middle, and also it was her work email and it just would have been a mess. So I say to them, hey, my sister can't respond to you on her work email. You don't need to tell me who you are, but can you please give me more info? I would really appreciate it. Amanda is a really good friend of ours, so I'm not really sure that I believe this. I don't get a response. So I email them again a little over an hour later, and I say, I don't mean to be annoying, but I just found out about this, and I would really appreciate if you could put yourself in my shoes and give me some clarity. I will say the timing in between these emails feels like fucking days. Like it drags on, even though I'm looking at the timestamps, there was like an hour and 5 minutes between these two emails that I sent. And the rest of the night was normal. Me and my ex-wife were in bed with our dog. We were watching the series finale of The Mindy Project. And I remember so distinctly that I said to myself, I just want to enjoy this. I just want to snuggle up with my wife and my dog, watch one of our favorite shows, be safe, and just chill. Because I knew that if this person did respond the next day, it could completely change everything. And the next morning, the first fucking thing that I did was check my email, and I saw that they had replied to me the night before. I had just already gone to sleep. Y'all, this isn't even scratching the surface, and I feel like we're already at almost 10 minutes, but I'll tell you what they say in part 2. Good morning. This is part 2 of the story where my ex cheated on me with one of her bridesmaids, who was also one of our closest friends, and then my divorce lasted longer than my marriage. Okay, my last video ended where I said that I had reached out to the people that had emailed my sister and I hadn't gotten a response. I emailed them a second time, didn't get a response, and then I said I woke up the next morning and I did have a reply from them. Their email says, it happened for months. Maybe it's still happening. I felt no one close to the situation was going to share, and I thought that you deserved to know. I'm not trying to convince you, but I think that you should discuss this with Emma or Amanda. Now, a few things stuck out to me in this email. The first thing is, and this becomes a theme over the entire exchange, is that this person is very nice and polite. It doesn't seem like they're being malicious. It doesn't seem like they're stirring shit up. It genuinely just seems like, I think you should know this. And like, I don't want to get involved, but I think you should know this. That's the vibe that I got from them the entire time. The other thing was the part where it said, I felt no one close to the situation was going to share. Because I read that and I was like, well, what the fuck does that mean? Because now the person writing this email not only knows stuff about this alleged affair, but they also know who else knows, and they also know that those people have not told me. So when I see this, I respond at the fucking speed of light. I say, hey, I really appreciate you answering. I know that you're not here to convince me, but I'm sure you could understand that this would be really confusing and upsetting. Do you have any specific info or examples? How do you know about it? Who knows and isn't telling me? That first email I sent was at like 7:30. I don't get a response. And again, the time in between these emails truly feels like days. The time was dragging on, and anytime my phone lit up, I was like grabbing it right away to see if somebody had emailed me back. So at 9:30, I email them again and I say, listen, if this is true, I want to address it with her sooner rather than later. Can you please give me whatever information you have? I appreciate you reaching out, and I probably would have done the same. But this is a really bold claim to make about someone's marriage and then not give them any information on how they know about it. I'm like, I get you're clearly being respectful, but you're also just saying they had an affair. You're not giving me shit to go off of. So what am I supposed to do with this? And I'm thinking at it from two different perspectives, right? So there's the first part where I myself don't know if I even believe this, because I don't know who this person is. So I don't even know if they're credible. They seem to have good intentions, but it all just seems a little weird. The second part is Amanda is one of my best friends. The third part is all of us had continued to hang out over these alleged months that this was happening. So I'm like, there's just no fucking way. There just isn't. But then again, why is this happening? Why am I being sent this email? Why do they know just enough information that it feels legit, but not giving me enough information to truly make the decision for myself that I actually believe them? And also, like, I was in denial. Like, I didn't want to believe that this was true. The second part is, what the fuck am I supposed to say to my wife about this? I can't confront her about it with nothing. And you might think, of course you could. You could just tell her you got this email, but no. My ex is, let me be careful about how I word this. I needed hard proof to ever bring this up to my ex because I knew that if I didn't have anything, I would immediately be gaslit. There would immediately be an excuse. And somehow, even bringing it up was going to be my fault. Okay? That's how it felt while I was getting these emails and trying to get just a shred of information because I knew I was stuck. I knew that there was literally nothing that I could do unless I wanted this all to just basically go away. Back to the email. At 10:30, I see my phone light up. I have an email from them. Mind you, I work remotely at home at the time, but this is a work day. I'm in the middle of a meeting with my entire team when I get this email response, and I'm trying to play it cool, but I know I want to read that shit immediately. I go to read it, and if you've experienced this feeling before, then you know how it feels. If you haven't, I don't really know if this will land with you, but as I'm reading this email, my blood felt like it was running cold. I felt so hot and sweaty and freezing at the same time, and my stomach dropped. So I turned my camera off because as I'm reading this, I'm thinking, oh, wait a minute. The email says, I'm being careful about what I tell you out of respect for my friendship with one of the parties. I would not send this on a mere suspicion. I know this happened. This is a fact. The extent of what I know and can tell you is that it seems romantically serious, and anytime your wife visited her over the months, they were having sex in Amanda's apartment. You need to talk to your wife. I wish you the best. I am so sorry. This was the email. I didn't need any evidence. I didn't need any screenshots. I believed them at this point. Because again, they're being polite. They're being very delicate with the situation. And it's clear to me now that they are very close with either Emma or Amanda. The other piece is anytime your wife visited her over the months. So they know also that my wife had been going there many, many times over the last year-ish. That's not really common knowledge. So this has to be somebody who genuinely is close to the situation. The other piece is the romantically serious. Because I will say, over the months of my wife going to Amanda's apartment, the friendship between the three of us got a little strained because of that. We were still all very close. We all still hung out very regularly. But it was the vibes were off sometimes. And I remember having conversations with my wife where I said, hey, the way that you are involving Amanda in our conflicts and our marriage is putting a strain on my friendship with her and is making the dynamic with the three of us very challenging. And I would repeatedly say, I wish that you would stop going there. We need to be able to sort through conflict ourselves. I think you are becoming very codependent on her. And it's not fair to me and it's not fair to her. And I'll get into numerous conversations that I had with my wife and Amanda when I start talking about the actual time of the affair. But the romantically serious part was like, okay, so not only are you telling me that they were having sex, but you're also telling me that something about it was serious on a romantic emotional level, which is what I had been fucking clocking to my wife towards the end of what I now know is their affair, where I was like, you two need boundaries, okay? And when I tell this story, hindsight's 2020, right? I wish that I was a bad bitch who found out on her own and had done all this investigative work and like just knew, had a dream, a women's intuition that I didn't. I would not have found out about this if this person hadn't told me. I feel very confident in that. If I had found out about the affair, I 10 toes down can say I would have never ever found out the extent and the details of their affair if this person hadn't told me. So within a minute, I reply and I say, got it. Do you mean your friendship with Amanda or the person you found out from? I just don't understand how you know about this so definitively. Again, I'm still in this fucking meeting. I am still off camera. Now I'm trying to play it sort of cool, regulate myself a little bit. I can't really have a big reaction at this moment in time because I'm in a meeting, but also because my wife was in the next room. And at this point in time, she was on long-term disability, which I'll sort of get into later because it's very relevant, but we were both home. So I couldn't do much. And again, I believe this person at this point, but I don't have any evidence, so I cannot say shit to her. So within like literally 8 minutes, I follow up again and I say, I'm sorry, this is obviously upsetting. I really do appreciate you telling me, and I completely respect that you're in a tough position. Is there a chance you have a screenshot or something and could blur out their names? I guess I'm just confused how you know. Were you told? Did you overhear it? Like, I'm just trying to find out, are you the direct friend of Emma and Amanda? Or did someone tell you about this situation and you're friends with the friend? Like, I didn't understand how they knew so definitively, but I did believe that they knew. About 10 minutes later, I get a response from them, and thank fucking God my meeting was over. And they said, I do not feel comfortable giving you more information about who I am and how I'm connected to this affair. I think you deserve to know, so I made sure that you know. This isn't something I overheard. Because it has been many months, I felt like there would be no other way that you would have had this information. I am so sorry this is how you found out. Woman to woman, who I am is a lot less important than what your wife is doing to you. Talk to her. Get the phone records. This is the last message I will send you. Again, I wish you the best. When I got to the part where she said, woman to woman, who I am is a lot less important than what your wife is doing to you, it was a wrap. Y'all, I hear you. I hear you, okay? Loud and clear. Part 4 of the story where my ex cheated on me with one of her bridesmaids, who was also one of our best friends, and then my divorce lasted longer than my marriage. Before we dive in, I just want to say, I'm trying my best, okay? I did not expect so many people to lock the fuck in so quickly and want parts immediately, but I do have a full-time job. So I'm giving you part 4 while I'm having my lunch, and then I promise you I'm going to post a bunch later, and I will continue to post as quickly as I can, okay? A lot has happened over the last 2 years. You're gonna be here a while, and I warned you. But in all seriousness, thank you for being so invested. Thank you for being supportive and all your fucking hilarious comments. They're making my day. And also, this just feels so cathartic for me and has been a long time coming, and I'm just so relieved to finally get this shit off my chest. So let's dive in where we left off. At the end of my last video, I said that I had gotten an email that truly just made me believe this person was telling the truth. They still hadn't given me any hard evidence, but I just knew at that point. And I had mentioned that they said they were not going to email me back again. So all I did was say thank you and that I appreciated it, because it just seemed clear that they'd given me what they were going to give me, and I wasn't going to push it any further. A quick timing check, okay? This is all May 2nd. Again, 2024. Some of you were confused. This didn't happen a couple months ago. This happened in 2024. So this is May 2nd. The original email was sent on April 30th. A couple days before that, we had just gotten back from going on vacation with my family for an entire week. And that vacation was rocky with me and my ex, because she was acting incredibly fucking strange the entire week. She wasn't being very nice. She was being incredibly impatient. And we got in multiple arguments where I basically got to a point a couple days in where I was like, you know what? This is my fucking family vacation. If you're gonna act like this, you can act like this. I'm gonna enjoy myself. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you, but I'm not dealing with this. Don't know if it was the day that we came home or the day after, but she and I had a really long heart-to-heart. We got to a good place and we were fine. Then this email literally comes the next day or 2 days later. So I'm like, what the fuck? I later find out that part of the reason they sent this email to begin with is because they saw we were on that family vacation, and they said it was clear to them that she had no intentions of telling me about her affair. Now back to the last of the emails. At this point in time, the only people that really know what's going on are my sister, who the email was sent to, my best friend, who we were referring to as Cassie, and then one of my other best friends, who I'm just gonna call Aria. And if you're all watching this and you don't like your pseudonym, sorry, there's only so many names I can choose from that I don't actually know other people with those names. So I've been giving my sister, Cassie, and Aria a play-by-play through this whole thing. And I tell them about the last of the emails, and they are all in agreement that this is true and are asking me what I'm gonna do. And I was frankly like, I don't know, because again, I don't have any hard evidence, and I'm not gonna bring this up to her until I have something, because she's going to fucking spin it, and then I'm never going to know anything. I'm still in the workday at this point, but my ex is about to leave for a doctor's appointment that's about 30 minutes away. And I decide that that's enough time for me to fucking flip this house inside out and try to find something for myself. Because this person's right. There has to be like some type of something that I can use to start this conversation with my ex-wife when I confront her. However, I have been with her for many years at this point, and I know that if she actually had done this, it was going to be extremely hard to find any type of paper trail or evidence. For one, she would be operating in an airtight fucking process, and she would not be sloppy about it. Clearly, because I didn't know about any of this over the many months they were having an affair. The second part is, I don't know any of her passwords. Like, I know her phone code, but she obviously would have had her phone. She leaves, and I'm basically trying to decide where to start. And I'm like, okay, if I was a manipulative, abusive, pathological liar, where would I hide shit that would be evidence of my affair that I've been having for months? So I just start walking around the second floor of our house where our bedroom is and her office is. And as I walk past her office, I see that she does have her laptop there and she had left it. So I go and I start trying any of the known passwords that I know that she's used before. None of them work. I start getting nervous I'm gonna get locked out of the laptop because in my mind, I'm like, if I can't find anything, I'm not gonna bring this up to her. But if she sees that her laptop is locked or whatever the fuck happens, I'm gonna be stuck again. So then I start looking at other stuff on her desk. She has a few notebooks. She has like books she's reading and I'm just flipping through everything. And I already felt gross about this whole thing because I was really going through all of her shit in like great detail and it just felt like wrong. But I didn't find anything. It was just like notebooks with to-do lists and like books she was reading. And I'm like, okay, so I go into the bedroom. I find that she has another notebook. And when I'm looking through that, there's a bunch of really random shit in there that seemed like they would be passwords because the words didn't make sense to be anything else. So I go back to her laptop. I'm trying all the different words. None of them were working. And I'm like, okay, laptop's a bust. Move on. Then I'm thinking, okay, maybe she has receipts for something. So I go so far as to go downstairs in our coat closet. I'm going through all of her pockets. I'm going through any bags she's recently used. Nothing. Then I start to feel fucking insane. And I'm like, okay, think like bigger, Natalie. Think more creatively. If you were trying to hide something, maybe you'd put it in plain sight. So I go back to her office and I'm looking at her bookshelves and she has tons of books and I'm like, going through all of them. I'm opening up some that she recently read. I'm opening up some that are random. And I'm like, I don't fucking know. Like maybe there will be a picture or a note or like I had no fucking idea what I should even be looking for, never mind where I should be looking. And then it got to a point where I was like, I'm not going to find anything. I'm not going to find anything. Even given the circumstances, I'm sitting there feeling guilty that I just went through all of her stuff. I'm feeling defeated. I'm feeling very discouraged and just like insane. I start to feel crazy because I'm like, how the fuck am I gonna do this? And I decide that I'm just gonna confront her when she gets home because I can't play cool anymore. It's like eating me alive. I can't focus at work. I feel sick. The people that I've been telling and talking to are extremely worried about me. And I just, like, I can't do it anymore. Oh, and the other thing I actually forgot to mention is that my mom knows about the situation and so does my dad. Because when my sister got the email, she panic called my mom because she didn't know what to do. And I'm not mad at her at all for that. Like, I wouldn't have known what to do either. But my mom and my dad and I had not addressed it at this point. I knew that they knew, but I wasn't going to say anything. So I'm basically just sitting there waiting. And I have my wife's location and I'm watching her drive home and she's getting closer. And I'm texting my friends and I'm texting my sister and I like feel my heart fucking racing out of my chest. And I'm just like, I have no fucking idea how this is gonna go. She comes home, she puts her stuff down, our dog greets her at the door, all excited to see her. It was around lunchtime, so she came into the kitchen, was making food. I was asking her about her appointment, like just small talk. And similarly to wanting that last night where things were normal, I knew this confrontation was like it. Like there was gonna be a before the confrontation and then a life after the confrontation. So I remember asking her for a hug and standing there longer than usual and her being like, what's wrong? And me being like, nothing, I just wanted a hug. She's like, okay. So she gets her food. We're walking into the living room and I'm like, okay, like I have to do this now because what else are we gonna fucking do here? One thing that I absolutely knew needed to happen before I confronted her was that she could not have her phone because if she had her phone, she would leave. And if she didn't, she wouldn't, because she would never go anywhere without her phone because she knew that I would go through it. And also if she was going to try to get an Uber, she wouldn't be able to. So we're walking into the living room and she's talking about something she Googled after her appointment. And I just was like, oh, can I see? I want to read it. And I take her phone and I lock it. And I go and I sit in the chair across from her. And she's like, what are you doing? Why are you taking my phone? Now, there's a decent chunk of this conversation that I don't remember because it was extremely traumatizing and I feel like I blacked out some of it. However, at this point in our relationship, I had gotten to a point where I needed things to be documented because she would gaslight the fuck out of me, saying that something didn't happen, something wasn't said, that that's not how it went down, that I started it, blah, 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 blah. And I started to feel insane. And I started to take accountability and apologize and feel like things were my fault for a lot of shit that was not my fault. So I actually have notes from this whole confrontation because I had texted my friends after the fact, and then I also wrote things down in my notes app because I fucking knew that moving forward, she was going to try to lie about how that conversation went down. I'm gonna dive into the conversation in the next part, but I'm going to post these back to back, so don't get mad at me that it's another video. This is just too long. Part 5 of the story, where my ex cheated on me with one of her bridesmaids, who was also one of our best friends, and then my divorce lasted longer than my marriage. The last video ended with me about to confront her, so we're gonna dive into how that shit went, and let me just, spoiler alert, it didn't go well. So I opened the conversation by saying something to the effect of, instead of lying to me, which I know you have been, and instead of denying this, which I know you're probably inclined to do, I'm gonna give you one opportunity to come clean about this, and this is the only opportunity that you're gonna get. And I remember saying to her, do you understand? And her being like, sure. And me being like, no, this is a yes or no situation. Do you understand, yes or no, that this is your one fucking opportunity to come clean about this and to tell the truth, or moving forward, shit is not gonna go well for us? She says yes, and I can tell, based off of her face and her body language, that she is fucking scared. So I looked right at her and I said, how long have you been sleeping with Amanda? And without missing a single fucking beat, her response was, why are you asking me that? Why are you asking me that? If I had been in her shoes, or I feel like if anybody had been in her shoes, a normal reaction would have been something to the effect of, I'm not. Why do you think that? I would never do that. Well, what's going on? What are you talking about? Not, why are you asking me that? That's a fucking insane way to answer this question. And this was the very beginning of her reactions to things being fucking psychotic, in my opinion. She was cold, she seemed angry, she was very short, and it just felt like she was angry at me for bringing this up to her. And I remember saying to her, no, we're not fucking doing this back and forth bullshit, because I told you at the beginning, I already knew the truth. So don't lie to me, don't deny it, and this is your one opportunity to come clean, or shit is not gonna go well for us. And she just sat there. She was like, I'm not sleeping with Amanda. And I said, okay, if you're not currently sleeping with her, how many times have you slept with her? And she said, I have not slept with her. And again, the robotic, cold way that she was speaking to me was so fucking unsettling. Like, when I tell you that she said, I'm not sleeping with Amanda, she literally said it as, I am not sleeping with Amanda. This is where I started to feel fucking crazy. I genuinely felt like I was in some type of interrogation with a sociopath. And this conversation just continues to get worse. And her reactions and the way she's talking to me continue to get weirder. And one of the parts that stuck with me was I said to her, I already know the truth, so why are you lying to me? And her response was, you don't know. And I was like, I do. And she just kept saying, you don't. And I was like, I don't? She goes, no, you don't. You don't know anything. That's how she's saying this to me. And so I'm starting to get fucking pissed because I'm like, for one, you're lying to me. And for two, why the fuck are you talking to me like that? So then I decide we're gonna do the one thing, the one trump card that we do where we say, fine, swear on Oakley's life then. Oakley's our dog. And I remember her going, I'm not swearing anything on Oakley's life. And I'm like, why not? You've in the past done it. You've sworn on my siblings' lives. You've sworn on your parents' lives. You do that all the time to show just how honest you're being. So why would you choose right now where I'm confronting you about having an affair with one of our best friends, to decide, I can't swear anything on our dog's life, and I won't. I think I remember so many details about the beginning of this conversation because it was before I dissociated and blacked out from being so upset. But I remember saying to her, why won't you just tell me the truth? And her response was, why don't you just be an adult and tell me what's going on? And as she said that, she was smirking. And when I tell people that detail, they find it to be bone chilling. And I say, I agree, but that was a pretty common thing with her. And I go on later to learn that that's a very narcissistic quality. When I look back on this entire situation, I feel so bad for that version of me. But when I think specifically about this whole confrontation, I just really feel sad that version of me continued to entertain her bullshit after this conversation. Because she goes on to say, whatever you think you know, it doesn't matter because there's nothing happening here anymore. And I was like, what are you talking about? She goes, the way that you're handling this is the end of the road. And I said, the way I'm handling this is the end of the road of our marriage? And she says, yeah. Guys, this is when I escalate. This is the part where I'm like, first of all, fuck you. Second of all, you're acting like a literal lunatic right now. Third of all, answer my fucking question. So I go on to say, as somebody you've been with for 8 years at this point, and she's interrupting me over and over and over again, being like, why do you think I slept with Amanda? Why do you think I slept with Amanda? And I would start to say something. Why do you think I slept with Amanda? And I try really hard to bring myself back down because I know if this escalates, I'm not going to get any information. But she's sitting in front of me, continuing to be very cold, very curt, not showing a single ounce of emotion for somebody who she allegedly loves. It's fucking sending me. And she goes on to say, I'm done answering your questions. I'm not answering your questions. And I'm like, no, you're absolutely going to answer my fucking questions. Are you insane? That's not how this goes. You're going to answer me. And she just goes, I'm not. And I'm like, what do you mean you're not? And she goes, you're fucking fishing for something and I'm not entertaining this immature bullshit. And I remember these sound bites so clearly because it enraged me. It's enraging me. Like, I don't know if you can see, but my eye is starting to twitch. I remember at a certain point, my body starts shaking. And my voice starts trembling and I'm realizing looking down at my hands that I'm shaking. And I can tell that it's not really out of anger, but it's like all of the pieces are coming together that this shit happened. The way she's acting is not normal and it's not okay. And I remember sitting there feeling like the fucking floor was falling out from underneath me and that I felt like I was going to have a panic attack. And I don't remember exactly how I worded it, but I think I said something like, why are you going to sit in front of me and lie to me? And you know what her response was? She said to me, why are you asking me questions that you don't want the answers to? So I say, because I'm your fucking wife and you owe that to me. And I remember her saying something to the effect of, well, if you think you know everything, then I'm not going to answer anything because you already have all the answers, right? At this point, I start to shift away from being confused and angry to being incredibly fucking sad. I did start to feel really fucking small and really stupid. And I remember then, and even right now as I'm reliving it, feeling like a little kid. Feeling like when you're really overwhelmed and upset as a little kid and all you want is your mom. And I remember saying something to the effect of like, you're not trying to comfort me. You're not even trying to convince me. You're just acting psychotic. Like, this is insane. And I said to her, I remember saying to her, you look scared. And she replied with, I'm not scared, I'm angry. Oh, are you? You're angry. Okay. So I'm like, you're angry with me? What could you fucking possibly be angry about in this situation? And she goes, because you're fucking fishing for shit and you're always stirring shit up. Oh, okay. So we're ping-ponging back and forth repeatedly, where I'm asking her, can you please tell me the truth? Can you please tell me what has happened? And she's giving me answers like this. I didn't do anything. I didn't do that. I'm not lying. I've never hooked up with Amanda. Over and over and over again. And so I'm realizing this is going fucking nowhere. And I say to her, okay, what if I call her right now and ask her myself? Part 6 of the story where my ex cheated on me with one of her bridesmaids, who's also one of our best friends, and then my divorce lasted longer than my marriage. We're in the middle of diving into the confrontation. If you haven't seen it, go watch the other one. But I'm at a point where I say, okay, how about I just fucking call Amanda myself and ask? Because you're clearly not going to answer me. What do you think she would say? And I remember her being like, she would say that she's not. And she would probably think you're fucking insane for asking. Then at this point, I remember I have her phone. So I say to her, okay, so if I sit here and I go through your phone right now, I'm not going to find anything. There's going to be nothing at all about Amanda in here. She's going to be like, no, you can feel free to do that. And I remember her saying some bullshit about being like, well, I mean, she's going to be in my phone. She's one of my best friends. And me being like, okay. So similarly to when I was looking through my house, I open her phone and I have no fucking idea where to start because I know there's not going to be texts. I didn't even waste my fucking time with that. I went to pictures. Nothing in pictures, nothing in recently deleted. I did check recently deleted texts, there was nothing there. I went to Snapchat, nothing there. I started going through email, nothing there. I go on Facebook, nothing there. Instagram, nothing there. And I actually got to a point where I was like, let me check Twitter. So I open Twitter and I go to their messages, and the last time they had sent each other anything was a couple years before then. And I'm like, so you and Amanda haven't sent each other anything on Twitter for multiple years? She was like, I guess not. I'm like, that's strange, don't you think? And I remember her saying something fucking stupid like, well, she just got her Twitter. And I was like, that's weird, because I'm looking at her fucking profile right now and it says that she joined 10 years ago. Again, I start to get frustrated that I can't find fucking anything, because even though that's weird and she clearly deleted stuff, I have no proof to go off of. And I forget how we eventually transition into this part of the conversation, because I think I eventually just gave up with the phone because I knew I wasn't going to find anything. She does admit that she's had an emotional affair with Amanda. She does admit that they've crossed the line in their conversations, that they have admitted to having feelings for each other, that it's a gray area because they've been friends for over 15 years and all this bullshit. And then tells me that she has confided in one of our mutual best friends, another one, about this. We'll call him Kevin. And I'm like, so let me get this straight. You just sat here and lied to me over and over and over again. Now you're admitting that you had an emotional affair, but it's not happening anymore. And also, you're telling me that our other best friend has known about this. For how long? She wouldn't answer. I remember, okay, when did you tell Kevin about this? She didn't answer. I'm like, okay, fine. When did you and Amanda have the conversation that you had feelings for each other, but you couldn't, and as she put it, put the genie back in the bottle? When did you have that conversation? She's like, I don't know. And so I keep pressing her over and over and over again because I'm like, yes, you fucking do know. You do know. And she wouldn't give me an answer. And if this debrief sounds frustrating to listen to, imagine how frustrating it was to live, because this back and forth was so infuriating. I was trying to give her the chance to come clean. She obviously was not. She continued to act like a sociopath in her responses, and I was getting nowhere. Truly, I was getting nowhere. And I said to her, I cannot believe that this is how you are approaching this situation. And you know what she said? She said, well, it doesn't matter because the relationship's over. So I'm like, okay, the relationship's over because I confronted you about this? And she just flatly goes, yes. And I'm like, you do realize this is like our life. Like, we are married. This is a very serious thing, and you clearly are guilty. And she was like, you think you know something, you don't know anything. I'm telling you that it's not true, and you won't listen, so what else do you want from me? And then, right on fucking schedule, she did what she always fucking did, and she tried to flip it on me. And she was like, I don't like how you went about this situation. I thought we really turned a corner yesterday during our long conversation. I thought that we were in a better place. She keeps saying stupid shit. She's like, you took my phone, you're going through my phone, you're acting fucking crazy, and you don't trust me, so why would I bother answering anything, because you're obviously not going to believe me. And I think at some point, I tried to call her out for this, where I was like, you're not flipping this on me. You're obviously fucking guilty. And she just kept saying shit. She kept being like, I'm not doing this. I don't need to do this with you. You're being fucking crazy. I'm not engaging with this. And at this point, I'm feeling very fucking desperate, because this conversation I assumed would go poorly, but I did not ever expect her to act like this. And I remember saying to her, like, you're being so robotic and cold and defensive, and you are not acting like somebody who loves me or cares about me. And I remember her saying some bullshit, being like, of course I love you. Of course I care about you and respect you. I care about you so much. And then I was like, okay, but you've been cheating on me. And then she was silent. And I don't know how long it actually was, but it felt like she was silent for a very long time, and I just waited. And then you know what she said next? She looks at me and she goes, I want to be with Amanda. And I was like, excuse me? What the fuck are you talking about? I was like, okay, so you have had a conversation with Amanda then about being together. You did let the genie out of the bottle then. And she was like, yeah, we have. And I was like, okay, so when the fuck did this start? And this is where she starts doing the, I'm not answering that. I'm not answering that. And I'm like, yeah, bitch. Yeah, you fucking are answering that. When did this start? I'm not answering that. I was like, okay, what was the conversation then? What did you and Amanda talk about? And she was like, I'm not telling you that. I'm like, what do you mean you're not telling me that? And she's like, I'm not telling you the details of that. That's personal between me and Amanda. First of all, shut the fuck up. I'm your wife. She is not. You owe me all of the explanation and details that I ask for. Then actually, now that I'm thinking of it, I do think I might have started crying, but I didn't cry for very long because I was consumed by rage and also trying not to throw up. But I did go on to say the classic, like, how could you do this to me? Why would you do this to me? Why would you ever treat me like this? And she just kept saying the same bullshit. She kept being like, I'm really sorry. I've been unhappy for a long time. We didn't mean for this to happen. All of the like go-to bullshit lines. And I'm like, okay, so what the fuck is happening here? Are you leaving me for Amanda? Is that what's happening? And she was like, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know, bitch? What do you mean you don't know? Then I start going down the, well, do you love her? Are you in love with her? And her response, I don't know. And then she goes, I know that I love you. Oh, okay. Is this what you consider loving somebody to look like? At some point in the conversation, I had told her that my sister and my parents knew, and she kept asking me how they did, and I didn't answer because I wasn't even going to get into the emails at this point, and she kept harping on it. And at this point, like towards the end of the conversation, I remember her saying something like, this conversation doesn't matter because we're never going to come back from this because you're never going to believe me. And now your parents and your sister know and they're never going to believe me or look at me the same. I don't even remember how I got this out of her, but she did go on to confirm at one point that she not only told Kevin about this emotional affair, but also asked him what he thought about leaving me for Amanda. So leaving me for one of our best friends and asking for advice to one of our other best friends. Psycho behavior. And apparently Kevin went on to say that she should stay and work on her marriage with me. And I guess that's what Emma went on to tell Amanda too. And that's why all of this never went any further because she loves me and she wants to stay with me and all of this fucking bullshit. And I'm like, okay, so you want to be with Amanda. What does that look like? Are you going to pack up your shit and leave? And she was like, that's not what I meant. I shouldn't have said it like that. I'm like, okay, so then what do you mean? What was the conversation? And I remember so fucking clearly her saying, I'm not giving you the intimate details of my conversation with her because it's none of your business. What? And at one point I said, okay, so you don't even respect me enough to tell me the full conversation you had with our best friend, and even if Amanda wasn't one of our best friends, you had with another person about leaving me and having feelings for another person. You don't respect me enough to tell me what went on in that conversation. She goes, you don't respect me enough to tell me why your sister and your parents know about this. Literally, and again, this is exactly the type of person that she was before any of this shit had happened. This is why I got stuck in this fucking cycle for so long, because I was convinced over and over and over again, oh, I'm not acting like an adult. Oh, I am being crazy. Oh, yeah, I am fishing for stuff. Or, yeah, you're right. You would never do this. Or, yeah, you're right. That's really disrespectful. No, absolutely fucking not.
Storytime on how I found out my ex-boyfriend that I was living with cheated on me. So here is the first red flag. We literally were only dating for a month and then we moved into an apartment together at the ripe age of 19 years old. I was head over heels in love with him. Literally, I thought I was gonna marry him, thought I was gonna spend the rest of my life with him. I literally, you can ask all of my friends, they all literally could see that I was so deeply in love with this man. Now fast forward, I went on a trip with my family for Christmas and New Year, so I was gone for 2 fucking weeks, bruh. The second I left to go on this trip, he completely stopped talking to me. He would send me maybe 2-3 texts throughout the entire day and that was it. He would not call me. He was literally just ignoring me. Now I had his location on Life 360, so I don't really know what the fuck he was thinking, But I would literally cry and have like horrific anxiety attacks every single night because, guys, our intuition is so fucking real. I literally had this gut feeling that he was cheating on me, and I was fully trying to convince myself that he was not doing that. I literally made a fucking journal that's like 5 pages long, and all it says in all caps is, he is not cheating on you. Bro, that is fucking sad. So right now we're in 2023 December, okay? It is New Year's Eve, bitch. We're about to go into the new motherfucking year, right? And I'm sitting here and he's like, I'll call you. I'm gonna go over to my friend's house and we're gonna play video games and I'm gonna celebrate the new year that way. I was like, oh, okay, cool. But then I literally see his location and he's going over to the bar. Mind you, while we were together, he would not let me go to the bar. I know that sounds fucking crazy. I let a man tell me what I can and can't do. It's pathetic, I know. But because of that, he was like, I won't go to the bar because I won't let you go. So when I saw that he was going over to the bar, I was like, what the fuck? So I'm blowing up his phone. Now I'm not proud of this. I called this motherfucker 50 fucking times. I called him 50 times. He did not answer a single one. In fact, he literally started declining my calls. And I was like, oh. And so prior to this, there was this girl that was a little fucking weird. And I basically asked him to like get his shit figured out with her, and he blocked her on everything. Well, I saw that she was literally at the same bar as him that fucking night. I am not a dumbass. And then at the end of the night, I see him driving home and he stays at our place. Well, the next morning I get a text from him and he's like, sorry, babe, I fell asleep on my friend's couch. Bitch, I literally had a screenshot of his fucking location showing that he slept at the house, and I was like, then what the fuck is this? Then he called me that night and was talking about I don't think we should be together. I'm just so unhappy with you. I literally sat there, y'all. I'm not even gonna lie. I begged. I'm not proud of it. I should have let him walk the fuck away. But I begged, he took me back, and everything was all good and jolly while I was on this trip. But I knew something fucking happened that night. So I come back home about a week later, and I go through his phone, and I literally see that he added a bunch of random ass women on his fucking Snapchat list, bro. What the fuck? Prior to this, he literally was talking to 0 bitches. That man's phone was so motherfucking dry. And his best friends list now was filled with women. I took a picture of every single one of those girls' Snapchats. I added it later on, but that's for a different story, y'all. You would think that I'd find something there. No, I go to his Instagram and I see DMs. Bro, he literally tried to take this girl out on a fucking date. She had a boyfriend. And she rejected him. That shit was funny as fuck. I was like, I don't even know if I can fucking be mad about this because you got rejected. Then I went to his messages and saw that he was trying to hang out with this other girl that he had done things with before, and she just never responded to any of his messages. I was like, okay, what the fuck? That same night, we're sitting on the couch, okay? We're watching a little movie together. All of a sudden, he starts getting a FaceTime from the girl that I had a problem with that he blocked and was at the bar the same night. It wasn't just a phone call, it was a FaceTime, bitch. I pick up the phone, I go to answer, he gorilla grips his fucking phone out of my hand. I was like, oh, I didn't know you were that strong. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh, bitch, I already fucking knew. I already knew what happened. And I'm like, answer the phone. He's like, no, I'm not gonna answer the phone. I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, let me see the messages. Y'all, he literally deleted the fucking messages and he handed me his phone. And on iMessage, you literally can click on the recently deleted, and he saw that I was going there, and then he snatched his phone on my hand again. I was like, oh, hell no. I went to the bathroom to go take a shower. I'm butt ass fucking naked. And he comes into the bathroom and he looks at me and he's like, Eva, I just have to let you know that I cheated on you while you were gone. I literally tell you, bitch, I looked at him with nothing but utter fucking disgust. I already knew that shit. I did not need him to fucking tell me. I literally was profusely sobbing in this fucking bathroom, y'all. That shower, it was just tears, bitch. Now, I'm not proud of this one, but after I found out and I got done taking a shower, I called my dad and he basically told me that it's not cheating. I went back into the room and we hooked up. Not proud of it, but about a month later, I fucking broke up with him. And then I moved back home. And that is another story time in itself because my parents kicked me out and I was homeless. But yeah, that's the story time on how I found my ex-boyfriend cheating on me the first time.
My boyfriend cheated on me with 4 of his co-workers. And I just want to tell you guys like how I found out, because do you know what? Thank you. I didn't have any sneaky feeling. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I thought my boyfriend was the, oh fuck, I'm so orange right now, the sweetest, like, most innocent guy ever. I thought he had no riz and like he couldn't speak to girls, so like I wasn't even worried about it. And then one day my boyfriend put on You, and I just thought like, like, you know when Joe didn't have any trust in her, I was just thinking like, oh, Like, I've never looked through his phone. Like, I'm kind of feeling like Joe. Like, something is not sitting right in me. And he's now fast asleep next to me in this very bed. I pick up his phone, open his phone because I know his password. He's never hidden it from me. Go to his DMs, right there. Not even in the request, not even archived. Bag of girls, like loads of girls. I'm telling you, black, white, Asian, the whole rainbow is there. He's chatting to all of them. So obviously I kick his ass out, but then I end up FaceTiming 2 of the girls. And they're both from his place of work. And they tell me, like, yeah, he was chatting to us, but we are not even the main girl. The main girl is also from their place of work. And he's been taking her on Sephora dates. He's been taking her on a birthday shopping spree, like birthday dress shopping. When it was my birthday, he told me we had no money and I had to plan it myself. And I was thinking, oh, like, he does model and he is, like, working basically full-time. So I don't know why he has no money because we don't, like, the rent is paid off as well. It's just, like, didn't understand. But now I know he was taking those girls out. And then, so I'm sending him everything. And I'm like, look, this girl's telling me the truth. Like, I don't know why you're still lying to me. Like, saying, because he's saying that he liked this girl platonically. Like, it's his best friend. Like, he never liked her romantically. And he's, like, swearing down on his mother's life, right? And so I'm like, you just shut up. Like, what type of fucking response is that? And then he says, okay, I'm going to be honest. Like, let me be honest. He's like, there is a main girl, but it's not her. It's another girl from my work. It's a South Asian girl from his work now. And I'm just like, oh my God. So far, I've spoken to Somali, white, South Asian. Like he's honestly got every skill. Like, he's got every colour of the rainbow. And I'm just like, this is actually mad. Because an hour ago, he was laid in my bed. He was never going to tell me. In 10 days, I was meant to move in with him and his mum, bro. To his mum's house. Now, I'm homeless. I'm actually low-key homeless. I'm low-key homeless. My tenancy expires in 10 days, guys. And I'm like, I'm just riding that wave. Honestly, I'll see what happens. But I'm not going back to Sheffield.
Hi, if your husband's name is Marcus Reed and he is from East Texas and he has been working up in Ohio as a data center mechanical flusher for the last 5 months, he got back today, August 6th. He has been cheating on you. We have been together for the last 2 months, talking every day, all day long, hanging out, seeing each other. Before he left, like a couple days ago, he said that he didn't know if this was going to work out because he was scared of the long-term commitment that comes with long-distance relationships. And the day he got home, which is today, August 6th, he uploads a picture of you guys together. And I don't know if you are his fiance. I don't know if you guys are actually married. All I know is you have a big, beautiful ring on your finger, and you don't deserve the treatment that he is giving to you and he gave to me. And I can tell you now, nobody deserves to go through that. Nobody deserves to feel this way, and I know you're going to feel awful, and I'm sorry. I really hope this video finds you. I need TikTok to do your thing. I don't want this girl knowing that her fiance, husband, whatever, is cheating on her while he's going out on these jobs out of Texas. I have no idea what your name is, honey, but all I have is this picture here. And that is the only picture I could find. I've been trying to dig for the last 4 hours since I found out. And I have been crying for the last 4 hours. Mostly on your behalf because you deserve better. I deserved better. I will be posting either tomorrow or the days to come with more information. I know one of my friends is going to post on my behalf because I can't do it because I'm a mess. If you could kindly reach out to me, that would be lovely. Thank you.
This is going to be a really long story, so keep me as your background video while you do what you gotta do. I'm going to be vulnerable with you guys and tell you where I was last year on this day. I was living with my boyfriend of 5 years at the time in an apartment that we chose together. We were long distance for 4 years, so he lived in Florida and I lived in Texas. So we finally moved in together. It was 4 months of us moving in together, and I had found out he was cheating on me. I went through the back instead of going through the front so I can surprise him, and when I snuck up behind him, he had his phone laying out and it was open on Instagram. I like peeped over and I seen that he was texting somebody, and he pulled his phone away from me. He moved across states for us to live together in an apartment, so I like never thought that cheating was even gonna be a thing. So when I confronted him about why he snatched the phone away from me, he told me that there was no reason for me to look at his phone. So now I was even more suspicious, and I was like, let me see the phone. Why'd you snatch that from me? And then he finally admitted that he was texting his ex from Florida. Mind you, this is my fault. Okay, don't call me a loser, but I am kind of a loser. He had cheated on me with her in the past when he was living in Florida, and I did not think it was gonna be another issue. Stupid ass me, I know. She's also a shitty ass person, because when I confronted her about it and I was like, hey, what's going on? I had no idea about you. She said the same thing. She's like, I didn't know anything about you. And she was all sad because she was in a relationship with my boyfriend and I had no idea about it, and she had no idea about me. And then several weeks later, I had more questions for her, and then she like did a whole switch on me and was telling me, girl, you're so stupid for staying with him. Like, he's gonna cheat on you again with me. Like, he loves me. Which of course I should have just fucking believed her and just like let her keep him, because they're both fucking losers. But I was so fucking heartbroken. I mean, we were living together for 4 months. We've been in a relationship for 5 years. Like, I couldn't just fucking let that go. But she continued to taunt me for months because she changed her Instagram bio to whatever his bio was. She put his name and her username, and I would question him about it and he'd be like, I literally don't know, like, this girl's crazy. This is also another reason I did not suspect him texting her, because I had a feeling he was being mad sketch. So while he was sleeping, I would go through his phone because I knew his password, and I didn't find anything. So whatever, I ended up being like, why the fuck are you texting her? And he said, I'm just telling her how much I don't like it here in Texas. So that made me feel like you are basically making fun of me because you're talking to the girl that literally taunts me. And like, I drive home, I'm speeding home. I leave his ass at work and I'm speeding home because I was gonna go fucking break all of his shit. His like pride possession is his PS5, and I literally was gonna throw that shit off the 3rd floor. Like, I was so fucking ready. As I'm like speeding home, I'm like calling everybody I know, and every single person's telling me not to do it. They're telling me just fucking leave him. Don't ask me why, but I continue to stay with this dumb ass bitch. I can go into more details about this, but anyway, so we stayed together. I told him to not fucking text her anymore, and I don't know if he did continue to text her or not, but I was not trusting him whatsoever. He told me he fucked up. He said he was sorry, and he told me that he knows I don't have any trust for him anymore. He was like, anytime you want to look at my phone, just tell me, like, I will give you my phone. So the next month or two, that's how it was. Our relationship was really rocky because I did not trust him, but he was living his life and being so fucking happy while I was literally overthinking the hell out of everything. He was no longer allowed to work with me because of the situation, so at this point he had no fucking job. And his lazy ass, I know, I was paying for the fucking apartment. He never helped with rent. That's not the point about this. So I got him. I'm the one that set up the fucking interview for him. A job at Home Depot. Home Depot is like literally across the street from us, so he could literally like drive there and it would take him like 2 minutes. 3 weeks into this stupid ass idiot working at this job, I found out he was cheating on me. He's like a serial fucking cheater. Like, he's so fucking easy. You want to know how I found out about this girl? So first of all, I had a couple dreams that he was gonna cheat on me. So I started a new job, and one of those days that I was working was an overnight. I had a dream that he was gonna cheat on me on a day that I had to work an overnight, but that's besides the point. He comes home when I'm getting ready to leave to work. He kisses me goodbye. He tells me he'll miss me and, you know, he'll be at home waiting for me. You know, like cute shit. I don't know if this idiot thought that like I would not see his location. I wasn't even watching his location. He texted me in like while I was at work. When I went to go respond, the top location thing said that he was in a city that he had no business being in. Like I said, he moved from Florida. He doesn't know anybody here. Why? Like, he had been working at Home Depot for 3 weeks. Like, who would he have like friends with to like go to a different city with? And he never told me like he made friends or anything like that. I'm like, what is he doing in this city? I click it and he's at the movie theater. Oh my god, I'm like blowing up his phone. I'm blowing up his phone. No response, because mind you, he didn't even tell me he was going somewhere. And not that he had to, but that's, you know, like if we lived together, you know, it'd be like, hey, I'm gonna go so and so, like. And we had a Ring camera on the door that me and him both had notifications on. And I was like, I never got a notification that he left. So like, what? I call his mom and I'm like, hey, have you heard from him? I don't know like where he's at. Like it shows that he's at the movie theaters, and I'm getting a bad like vibe. In his last text message that he sent to me, he said that he was gonna be playing Fortnite. So I texted one of his family members and I was like, hey, are you on Fortnite with him? Because they would play Fortnite together. And then his family member tells me, no, he's not even online. Oh, I'm telling you, my suspicions were to the roof. Me and his mom get along so well, so I don't know why she also switched on me, because she was like, oh my god, can you relax? Like, you always think he's doing something weird, and he's always doing something sketchy, or he's cheating on you. Can you relax? He probably just went to the movies. Ma'am, he's cheated on me multiple times before, and she knew about that. So I'm still blowing up his phone, giving him calls and texting him, and no response. All of a sudden I see his little location speeding home, but he's still not answering any of my calls. I'm like freaking out. I'm at work. I'm like, bro, I cannot, like, please tell me, God, like, he's not cheating on me again. I see his little location. He's pulling up into the parking lot of our apartment. I turn on my Ring camera and I see this fool running from his car up the stairs, sprinting as fast as he can, and he runs in the door. I call him again and he finally answers. I'm like, hello? Where have you been? Why have you not been answering me? He's like, what are you talking about? I've been home all day. Like, I was on the game. I swear to y'all, I cannot lie. I swear on my life, this is what happened. We were going back and forth because I'm like, bro, stop lying to me. Like, please, when is it gonna end? Like, I'm not dumb. I watched you on the cameras. He finally admits he was on a date with a girl that he met at work. So what I found out about this girl is he started working there. 1 week later, he found interest in this girl. Mind you, he admitted this to me. He found interest in her, asked her for her number, and they started texting. I was like, did she know about me? And he said, no. I told him, give me her phone number. I'm going to text her. He was like, I'm not going to give you her number. I said, if you don't give me her number, I'm going to go to Home Depot and I'm going to make a scene and find her myself. So he finally gives me her phone number. I text her and I tell her like, hey, my name is this and that. I've been with him. Like, I tell her like everything. She was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I had no idea about you. He came to me. Like, he told me he was single. He told me that he moved here from Florida to start over in life. She sends me screenshots of their text messages. And in the messages, he had texted her, do you have a boyfriend? And she was like, no. Do you have a girlfriend? And he was like, no. He said, no, I don't have a girlfriend because all girls do is break my heart. The exchange where I told him, give me her phone number or I'm gonna make a scene, he texted her. And he's like, hey, I forgot to tell you I have a crazy ex and she's gonna text you, but like, just go along with it. She's crazy. She's not okay in the head. He sent her this when I left the apartment after me and him had a conversation, and he told me this. He said, I know I keep fucking up, but you know I love you so much and we're gonna get through this. 5 minutes later, he sends that text to her, that I'm crazy in the head and please don't listen to her. Please don't listen to her, like me. After he was already caught, like the whole thing, he was still texting her like, hey, don't forget about doing this and that at work. Like, the fucking nerve. Like, bro, y'all don't even understand how fucked up in the head I was during this time. I wanted our relationship to work so bad. I was losing my sanity and my self-respect, and I cut off friends and family, and I clearly did not have enough self-respect or strength to leave a man who was treating me like this. But he kept telling me that everything was going to be okay and he was going to be a better man, until the day came that I literally could not take it anymore and I fucking left. And I kicked his ass out of my apartment. And I told him to tell his mom to take his ass home. So that's what she did. She flew here and they both left. His mom also said that it was my fault that he cheated on me because I didn't trust him. And she made excuses for him too. So, well, if you listened to 10 minutes of me yapping about my relationship from last year, thank you so much. Okay, here's part 2. No introduction needed. We're going to go straight into it. And if you need to put me as your background noise, go ahead and do so now. Watch my previous video if you need background information. Other than that, if you thought that video was bad, wait till you find out what happened in this video. We broke up last year around this time, and what I'm about to tell you happened in the summer of 2024. So 1 year before we actually broke up. We were long distance. He lived in Florida, I lived in Texas, and since it was 2024, by this point, we had been together for about 4 years. And it was never really that complicated because we would see each other so frequently. I think we would see each other maybe like every month, every 2 months. So June 2024, me and him were making plans to see each other in August, but he had no idea that I was secretly making plans to go see him the month before for his birthday. My birthday gift to him was me flying over there, and I also bought him a weekend trip on a cruise to the Bahamas for his birthday. And he was actually begging me to come see him for his birthday, but I kept making excuses as to why I couldn't because I didn't want it to spoil the plan. So the morning comes that I'm flying to Florida. He has no idea, and with help of his mom, I was able to go over there without him knowing. His mom picks me up from the airport. She drives me to his job. We go inside. He's so surprised. He's all happy. He's like smiling from ear to ear. He's kissing me, hugging me. Everything went according to plan. He was so happy. He got off of work. We spent time together. Everything was literally perfect. So that night he gets off of work. We're having dinner with his mom, and I tell him, surprise, I got you a weekend trip on a cruise. He was in shock. He was so happy. Like, what could go wrong, right? The weekend comes. We go on this cruise. Long story short, we had a great time. It was our first time ever on a cruise, so we took a ton of pictures together, whatever the case may be. So now this is where it all goes downhill. After we come back from this cruise, we spent his actual birthday with his family, and I was flying back to Texas the next day. And a couple weeks prior to this trip, I had like a gut feeling like just something was wrong. I have no idea why, but I had this urge to look through his phone. And I've never even been the type of person to look through somebody's phone. I just had this urge that something wasn't right. And then I felt like I couldn't even bring it to his attention because our relationship was so perfect. We always got along, we never argued, we communicated with each other so well. And this feeling just came out of nowhere. But I kind of feel like it started off with my dreams that I was having. I had like randomly started getting dreams of him cheating on me or him texting somebody. Like all of that came out of nowhere, but I ended up just brushing the dream to the side because I was like, oh, this is just a stupid ass dream. So the next day comes and I'm flying back to Texas in 2 hours. We're in his room, I'm sitting on the floor packing, and we're just talking about how much of a great time we spent the week that I was there. And then all of a sudden I get this nudge in my chest and like in my mind telling me to remember that gut feeling I had and to tell me to look through his phone. I felt like it was so wrong for me to look through his phone because he never gave me a reason not to trust him, but something in me was telling me to just go through it before I get on my flight. So I'm sitting on the floor next to his bed and he's standing doing whatever he was doing. And I was like, hey, you took a lot of pictures of us at the Bahamas, right? He told me, yeah, I did. And I was like, okay, can I see them on your phone so I can pick whatever pictures I want on your phone and send it to myself? He was like, yeah, of course. And he gives me his phone. So because I was sitting on the floor, the bed is blocking his view, so he can't really like see whatever I'm doing on his phone. When I tell you guys, so quickly, I had to like go through every single app. My heart was pounding. Like I went through Snapchat, Facebook Messenger, I went through Instagram DMs, Twitter. I went through every single app on there. Nothing. Like my heart stopped pounding and I was like, you see, like nothing's wrong. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I really let these dreams get to me. Like, oh, I'm so stupid. So after I got done going through his entire phone without him noticing, I then went to the actual photo album so I can pick the pictures that I actually wanted to look at. So I'm like scrolling through our cute little pictures and I scroll a little too high. When I tell you, this was the day that like whatever love I had for him was never going to be the same. I scroll a little high and I see screenshots of a long message. So I'm like, what is this? I click it and it's a long message that he sent to somebody on Instagram. Actually, it was about like 3 or 4 screenshots from him sending a message to somebody on Instagram and him sending a message to somebody on Facebook Messenger. I was literally jumping back and forth from these 4 pictures and it's the same name, so he sent these long messages to the same person. And as I'm reading it, he's saying, you know, I always love you and I just can't stop thinking about you. I'm like skimming through these messages because it almost like I'm not even like comprehending what I'm reading right now. And in these messages, he's talking about, I know you don't want to hear from me, but just know I've always been thinking about you. So I turn the phone to him and like I'm speechless. I can't even say anything. And I'm like, what is this? I kid you not, he looked me in the eyes and like his shoulders almost like drooped down and he was like, I'm so sorry. And I was like, what is this? He tells me I was never meant to see that. And I just keep repeating, what is this? Who is this? I'm like so confused because we've been together for so long. Who is this? He tells me that it's an ex before me. And I was like, what ex before me? We've been together for so long. So we had like a small break like 2 years before this, and we weren't together for like a couple months. Okay, well, he's talking about the girl that he was talking to during the couple months that we weren't together. And I'm just so confused as to why he's telling this girl that he was with for a couple months that he can't stop thinking about her and how much he loves her. What? And then he proceeds to tell me, but she never responded to me. She never texted me back, like as if that made it any better. I'm like bawling my eyes out. Like my heart is shattered into pieces because I just cannot understand how we got along so well. We never argued, and there was another girl. I don't even know like what to say to him, but I just know that like I want to be with you. Like, was this a mistake? He tells me it was a mistake, he didn't mean it, that he just wants to be with me and only me. And I was like, does she know about me? He tells me she doesn't know about me, and I tell him, text her right now and tell her that you've had a girlfriend this whole time. So he does, and then he blocks her and he deletes everything. I forgot to mention, when I was reading through these messages, he had screenshotted those long messages the morning that I showed up to Florida. But he had no idea I was coming. So I don't know how, like, and why he screenshotted these messages that morning, but the messages were sent like a month before. So the month that we were literally planning on seeing each other, he was sending these text messages to this girl. I cannot stop crying. Like, I'm literally in shock, and I have to be on a plane in an hour. We're driving to this plane in silence, and he's like, so are you gonna FaceTime me while you're on the plane? And I just tell him yes, but like I normally would cry every time he would drop me off because, like, you know, I'll miss him, but I couldn't even shed a tear of like me missing him. I was shedding tears on the plane because of like, what kind of betrayal? I forgot to also mention that I asked him if he really does love her, and he told me no, that he just said that, but that he doesn't know why. And he just kept apologizing, kept saying, I'm sorry. So I get home in Texas. We've been on FaceTime like this whole time, and we're still on FaceTime, and he's like moving on with life already. My whole life goes numb, and I have to go to work the next day at 7 a.m. I did not sleep because of everything that was replaying in my head, and then I drive to work. It's 7 in the morning. I'm the only person in my store, and I'm in the back doing like whatever I gotta do, and I just keep thinking, reach out to this girl. So I go looking, and I look her up on Facebook. I forgot how I even remembered her name. I find her on Facebook, and I message her. I'm not even joking with you guys. Please listen to this. When I pull up the text to Messenger, she had messaged me in February, and this was July that this was happening. I never saw her message because I have my notifications off and I never check my messenger. She messaged me in February, and you know what she said to me? She said, hey, random question, but do you happen to know so-and-so? He lives in Florida, and I just wanted to know if you guys were dating. So I messaged this girl back, and I know it's 7 in the morning, but I'm blowing up her phone because I need answers. She finally responds to me, and I'm like, why did you text me in February? Like, how did you even know about me? She tells me that they were together for a few months, and he like randomly stopped talking to her, and he like completely ghosted her. And I guess she saw that he was liking my pictures or something like that on Instagram, and so she chose to message me. But I never responded. I'm questioning her about everything. I'm like, did you know about me? Like who are you? She told me she had no idea that me and him were together, that they have been texting this whole time for like the past year. That they've been talking for the past year on and off, that he'll come in and be like, oh, I miss you so much. Like, I'm just not ready. I feel like I'm not man enough yet, and I'm going to fix myself, and God is going to fix me and make me the best man I can be to be with you. But right now is not our time. So because she was so in love with my boyfriend, she waited for him. I'm going to have to make a part 3 to this. This is already really long. The next video might not be too long, so just go watch the next one if you want to. Okay, so here's part 3, and this might be the last part. It's 7 a.m. I'm at work by myself, and this girl just told me that she's been dating my boyfriend for the past several months. She didn't know about me. I didn't know about her. I'm literally in shock. I don't know what to say, what to do. So I start to call him, and I'm like, you told me that she never responded back to you. He was like, she never did. Those are the only messages I have ever sent her since me and her stopped talking. And I'm like, you're lying to me because you just sent me a bunch of screenshots from months of you guys talking. He's like, she's lying. How is she lying? She just sent me screenshots. To which he gets mad at me because I'm texting her and he tells me to stop talking to her because she's trying to ruin our relationship. I hang up on him and I continue my text messages with her. When the saddest thing happened, at the same time that I'm literally trying to grieve over this situation issue, I get a call from my mom and she just tells me that my cousin passed away. In that moment, like, life did not feel real. It felt like I was in a dream. What do you mean that my perfect relationship of 4 years has been a lie? And what do you mean that this girl's in love with my boyfriend? And what do you mean that my cousin just passed away? It's only 7 in the morning. I'll tell you a little bit about how I had to deal with my cousin's funeral and this whole situation that was happening all at once. But let me tell you about this girl. So as me and her are texting, I'm like asking all of these questions and I'm being so like direct in my messages. I'm just asking you a question, respond back to me. Like I'm not really like feeding in the hey girly kind of thing. And then she's like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe this happened. Like I would have never suspected it and my cancer is flaring up right now. And I'm literally texting her like, what? She's like, oh my gosh, like I'm so hurt right now. Like now I gotta go to the hospital. She says you guys are meant to be with each other and I'll just go die in the hospital. I have stage 4 cancer. Like I don't know if any of this is true, but this is like so random. Like why are you telling me this? And I think it's because of how she was wording it, like saying like, okay, I'm just gonna die on my deathbed while you guys live happily ever after. I'm like, what? Like what? And then she'll like hit me with, I'm sorry I didn't respond. I passed out on the floor. I'm like so confused. I'm like, oh, he was cheating on me with like an 18-year-old or something? How old is this girl? I finally stopped texting her because I cannot handle this anymore. And then plus like I just got told that my cousin passed away. Like it's a lot going on. I go home and like my family's grieving because of my cousin, and I go to my room after I'm with family for a little bit, and I even told my boyfriend at the time like my cousin just passed away. So also while this is happening, I'm sorry, but I also need some answers of like everything that's happening. So I told him that I was talking to the girl and I'm like asking questions about her. I'm like, how did y'all meet? Like who is this? He tells me that they met online, that them two are also long distance. So not only did he cheat on me, he was cheating on me with another long distance relationship, except I believe she was living in Florida too, but just not in his city. I don't know, it was so strange. So then I ask him, I'm like, okay, well how old is she? Because the way she's texting sounds like she's a child. So how old is she? This is 2024 and I'm 24 at the time, and he is 2 years younger than me. So he's 22, and keep this in mind that sometimes it was like really rare that this would happen, but sometimes he would say, sometimes I feel like we have disagreements because of our age difference. I was like, we're not even that far apart in age. Like you're 22, I'm 24. So when he had made that comment like twice, it made me think maybe he wants to be with somebody his age. So then when I asked him how old is this girl, I guess I didn't know that you were interested in young girls. This man told me she's 27. She's 27. Now that you know how old she is, let's talk about what occurred, like a couple months after this. Yes, I stayed with him. Okay, judge me. I was madly in love and he was like my other half. Like, I'm sorry, I can't just easily leave. The next couple months are horrible because of everything that I'm going through, and I have no trust for him whatsoever. He tells me that I need to learn how to move on, that if I keep bringing it up, that I will never move on. But to me, it's like a coping mechanism. Like I need some comfort. A couple months later, I get LASIK eye surgery. 1 week before my LASIK eye surgery, I had a dream that he was texting her, he was looking her up. I didn't question him. I should have, but I didn't. I went to go have LASIK eye surgery, and then that following week, I had that feeling, and I was like, you know what, Alexia? Guess his passwords. So I guessed his passwords, and I was able to log in. I got onto his Instagram, and in the most recent search bar, it was her. But he told me he blocked her. But he told me that he's not involved with her and doesn't want her. By this point, we had already seen each other again, and we were looking for apartments. Oh my gosh, I sound like an idiot. Like, I don't know why. I don't know, y'all. I'm sorry. So I call him to confront him, and he gets mad at me, and he's like, how about you explain why you decided to log into my Instagram? So now he's mad at me because I guessed his password, and I'm like, you literally looked her up. And you know why? It's because I had a dream. The reason I brought up that I got LASIK eye surgery is because I was on my way to my appointment after LASIK so that they can just check up my eyes. And I saw all this happening and I was literally tearing up. I was like crying. And they tell you, make sure you don't cry a lot because you're gonna dry out your eyes. I cried every single day. I couldn't help myself. And for a whole week, he ignored me and didn't reach out to me and didn't talk to me. I decided to text her, which I don't know why. I decided to text her and I was like, hey, has he reached out to you? To which she responds to me and says, you're so dumb. Like, he's gonna cheat on you again. He's gonna want to be with me. She's like, he's a liar. Yet you're gonna go back to him because you're so stupid. And I'm like so confused because, bitch, you were so nice to me before and you were so like innocent. And now you're laughing in my face. Like, when I tell you she was putting LOLs and skull faces, like, girl, why are you taunting me? Why are you making fun of me right now? And I literally tell her, I'm like, you don't have to say any of that shit to me, honestly. Like, I'm just asking you a question. All I need is a response. Mind you, in this time, I was so hurt. So I did not have, like, the strength in me to cuss her out like I would right now, you know? And then this bitch sends me a pregnancy test. She sends it to me, and then she deletes it. And then I was like, girl, what are you trying to say? And at this point, I started thinking this girl is just crazy because of what she was saying before. And now, like, you're trying to be funny. She was like, just know that he's gonna be a daddy. And I'm like, the fuck are you talking about, bro? I reach out to his mom and I tell her about everything because she's aware of everything that's happening. And she tells me, because I told her, I was like, do you know about this girl? And she tells me no, which I don't know if she's lying about this or not. She tells me she doesn't know about this girl and she gets really upset that she would say that he's gonna be a daddy or whatever. She's like, I don't even know who this girl is. It sounds like she's really just trying to taunt you. So whatever, for my sake, I ended up blocking her. But yeah, she ended up becoming more issues in our relationship, which is why I ended up leaving his ass. So yeah, it took me a year to realize how much of a loser and a bum he is that I decided to leave. So fucking kill me because I stayed in a relationship and I had hope that it would work out. After this, by the way, this is when she like was taunting me on Instagram and changing her bio to whatever it was for him, and she would put like his name and her username. I don't know. There's so much lore to this relationship. Like, there's so much I went through after this whole thing happened. After that, everything went downhill. There's so much I can tell you guys. I feel like I just been like yapping, but I'm glad to know that you like listening to me talking. This feels like a FaceTime. Y'all let me know if y'all want more story times about this relationship. I'm healed now, so I feel good. I can talk about it without it hurting me. Fuck him, and fuck her, and fuck his mama, fuck all of them.
Don't know what is possessing me to get on the internet and tell my business, but I feel like it today, so I'm gonna tell the story of the time that I caught my D1 athlete boyfriend cheating on me. This story is years old, and I'm really telling it because one, it's now funny, and two, just a reminder to trust your fucking gut and trust your intuition because you're right every single time. Rewind to my senior year of high school / freshman year of college. Senior year, committed to the school that I was going to be swimming at. Boom. Immediately, basketball player committed to the same school messages me. Should have been red flag number one, but again, I really didn't know about the whole athletes not being shit thing. Shoot me. He messages me. We immediately hit it off, FaceTime. We start going on dates. Looking back, I was 1000% being love bombed. Didn't even know what love bombing was. Again, you live and you learn. Because in like a week of texting and calling, he told me he loved me. It's like, I love you too. But anyways, things were going well and asked me to be his girlfriend so early on. Like, it did not take long at all, but I'm like, you know what, this is go with the flow. He's selling this dream of like, we're gonna be the athletes at the school together, we're gonna be that athlete couple, this and that. Again, I'm just fucking dumb. Like, this story is me being dumb as fuck because there were so many signs. Let's start with sign number one. This was probably a few months into us dating. I got surgery on my breast because I had a tumor, gotten it removed. I kid you not, 3 days post-op, he decides to pick me up and we decide to hang out. He wants to do like painting outside. He was really artsy and creative and shit. So picks me up. We go to the store to get canvases and painting supplies and go in the store. And on the way into the store, this girl like is stopping and staring really hard. And I was just kind of like thrown off by it. And so then she immediately comes up to him and asks like, who's this, talking about me? And he was like, my girlfriend, and then proceeds to walk into the store. So I'm like, okay, probably a fanned out girl. I'm stupid. We leave the store, we come out. This girl is waiting by the car. She's waiting by the car and she's on the phone with somebody. Don't know who she's on the phone with. And
she seems hostile, and so he's just telling me to like get in the car. I get in the car, we drive. We leave the store parking lot. We get to the intersection. I kid you not. This same girl starts banging on his window at the stoplight in a fucking intersection on a busy road. Banging on his window, on the phone with somebody, screaming and yelling about something. So, like, obviously my adrenaline kicks in because I'm like, what is going on? Like, my heart starts beating. Mind you, I'm bandaged up. So, like, in no way, shape, or form can I defend myself because I'm stitched up. Like, so now we're driving and this girl proceeds to get in the car behind us. Car starts driving. Car's now chasing us. Car's chasing us and throwing bottles of things at his car. Gatorade bottles, vitamin water bottles at his car. So he eventually pulls into a neighborhood and like gets out the car and like threatens the fuck out of them, like tells them to leave us alone. So he gets back in the car. Obviously me shaken up. I'm like, what was that? He's like, nothing crazy X. Again, me being dumb. I'm like, okay. That story is extremely imperative to now fast forward. So basically after that, our relationships kind of started going downhill because he went to school. If you know, you know, basketball players have to go to college early because they start practicing and they have to live on campus and get adjusted. It's this whole thing. As soon as he goes to campus is when shit starts getting weird. Communication starts going down. I start having the craziest dreams, like on some witch shit, like psychic vivid dreams of him literally cheating. I'm like, I just had this dream that you're cheating with someone on campus, you're doing this, you're doing that. Another thing is he never wanted me to come to campus. He always wanted to come to me. Like if we were going to do a date night or hang out or do something, he would always come here. And I'm like, why can't I come to, like, mind you, our school is 10 minutes away. 10 minutes away. We both are from here. The school was 10 minutes away. So I'm like, why can't I come up there? Like, what's the problem? He came up with all these excuses of like, oh, like, we're not allowed to have people in the dorms and this and that. My coach said this. Guys, I hate telling this story because it's so embarrassing on my end. Because I'm just going for all of it. But eventually, like, things get bad to where, like, communication's just terrible. We're arguing a lot. I keep having these dreams. I keep asking him, is there somebody else? He's like, no. So, boom. One day, I don't know what, I'm on Instagram going through my explore page. Kid you not, picture of a girl in these dorms comes up. Now, hold that thought. 2 problems. I'm going to the same school, so I know what the fuck the dorms look like. 2, this girl did not go to Butler. So I was like, And it's crazy because they were living in dorms separated by grade. Her pictures were in the freshman dorms. Now, there were only, I think, 4 freshman players in that class. So that could mean that she belongs to one of those 4 people. I'm pretty sure 2 of them had girlfriends. So now that leaves 2. My boyfriend and somebody else. And, like, it's just one of those things where it's like gut feeling. Looks at her page. They don't follow each other. Which I was like, okay. So then I end up sending it to him. And I was like, do you know who this is? Like, these are the dorms. She's like, he comes up with this whole story of like, that's my teammate's girl. She was there trying to fuck with like one of my teammates, blah, blah, blah. Like just this whole thing. And I'm just like, my dumb ass was like, okay. Now fast forward to the part where he actually got caught. Mind you, at this point, it's been months of me having terrible dreams, crying almost every night, feeling like shit, communication terrible. Fast forward, we finally get on campus, right? So I'm on campus. I'm with my teammates, meeting my teammates, excited to be on campus and all that. So I start filling my teammates in on what's going on because I'm like, my boyfriend plays on the basketball team. This is him, XYZ. We've been having these issues. Boom, boom, boom. I showed them the post of the girl that posted in the dorm. I'm telling them all this stuff and they're like, that's fishy. Kid you not. 2 days later, I am, I think, leaving practice of something of the sorts, and 2 of my teammates went to a Trippie Redd concert. Right. Mind you, they know what my boyfriend looks like because I showed them. Go to a Trippie Redd concert, kid you not, start getting snaps from my teammates of my boyfriend and another girl at the fucking concert. So at this point, I'm heated, fuming, pissed, and I go back to the post and I stalk the girl's page and I see that she has this really distinct tattoo, right? Go back to the snaps my teammate sent me. She has that same tattoo. So I'm like, oh, 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. Got it. Mind you, I have video proof. Like, you're cheating, you're caught, you're done. So I take all of his shit that I had, bag it up. Mind you, I lived in the dorm above him. We lived 1 floor apart. Take all his shit, bag it, throw it at his front door. Didn't give a fuck. But I didn't tell him. I don't know how I went about this. I didn't tell him that I knew because I wanted to, like, pop up on him and surprise him. Because I knew if I told him, like, hey, I caught you, he would avoid me at all costs. So I pretend to be like, oh, like, hey, can I borrow something, on some chill shit? He's like, oh yeah, come down. Boom, opens the door. I get on his ass. I'm showing him the video and the pictures. I'm like, so you've been cheating. Caught you. This man is still denying it. He's like, no, that's my friend. Like, I would never cheat. Like, you're getting mad about something that's not true. You don't even know the full story. And I'm like, you're fucking cheating. Like, what the fuck? So after that, I just left, and that was that. Never really spoke to him or interacted with him. Will say though, after I caught him, I kid you not, the school we went to, our campus was small, so of course our business got spread across campus, and he's telling his teammates one story. He's telling his teammates that I'm this crazy ex and I'm obsessed and all these extra things to cover his ass. And so I kid you not, as our business is getting spread, more women are coming to me. So not only was this motherfucker cheating and had like a whole other girlfriend, he was cheating really on the both of us. So yeah, after that, I realized, okay, so when you have dreams, trust your gut. And yeah, athletes aren't shit. Crazy story time. No, I'm dumb. It's just funny to talk about and think about. But yeah, I haven't spoke to that man in years. Don't know what he's doing. Don't care. But it's kind of just like, damn, that really did happen.
Let me tell y'all why I'm single. Let me tell y'all, okay? I go to the Rangers game last night. People sitting in front of me, clearly a couple. Guy sitting here, girl sitting here, okay? I can see his phone. I'm nosy. I'm obviously going to read the phones. First of all, sir, why are your texts this big? I'm obviously going to read it, okay? So he's texting, and I already peep game because if this is him and he's texting, right? He has his phone turned this way because she's on the other side of him. I'm definitely reading your phone. So this girl, Erica, mind you, Erica, if you were texting a man, he was like Mexican and he was at a Rangers game on Friday night. Yeah, he was with that girl. He lied. So he's texting Erica, and Erica is like, are you with her? This man literally texted back, turned his phone, texted back and said, no, why would I be with her? Proceeds to then put his phone in his pocket and share a wing basket with her while she's all over him, and they're sharing wings. He eating on her wings that she bought. Okay. I read the text. I look at my neighbor and I'm like, she's like, ain't no way that did you see that? I said, yes. She said, ain't no way his phone just said that. I said, 100%. 100%. It gets better. The next day, okay, I've seen enough. Men ain't shit. The next day, me and my neighbor were like, we want a sweet treat. We're allowed one sweet treat a weekend. It was Sunday night, or Saturday night. We're like, let's go to Dairy Queen. So we go to Dairy Queen. We're literally waiting at the Dairy Queen. Sonic. We're waiting at the Sonic for them to like come bring our shit out, right? So the car next to me, there's a dude and he's in a pickup truck and he's with a girl in the car. So I can see inside of his car and I can see him on his phone while they're waiting for their food. The girl is in the passenger seat. His phone is tilted this way because she's on this side of him. And he's Snapchatting 1,012 girls while they're waiting for their ice cream, and she's in the passenger seat in fucking La La Land, not even paying no mind, and he's over here just sending Snapchats. And I'm like, I've had enough. I've seen enough. And then everyone has the audacity to ask me why I'm single. Everyone's getting cheated on.
Get ready with me while I talk about how I got cheated on by my boyfriend of 2 years, 2 days before my birthday. Basically, me and my boyfriend had been together since September of 2023. We never had any problems with disloyalty, and we basically both agreed that cheating was bad and it's like not a good thing to do to a person. One day in October, I checked his location and I noticed he wasn't in class. So I asked him, I was like, what's going on? Why aren't you in class? And he basically tells me that he had a long night and he was very tired. So basically, I get out of class and he tells me that when we get back to his place, we're gonna talk about it. I trusted him with my life. But when we get there, he basically tells me he was struggling with an addiction. Obviously, I was still hurt by it, but I thought it was something we could work through. So I spent the day just trying to reassure him that it was gonna be okay. Just wanted him to be honest with me. Fast forward to the next day, I'm walking to my bus to get to school. He tells me that he needs to talk to me more. He picks me up from campus and we drive to a park. When we get there, he lets me know that the night before he told me anything, more went on than just watching stuff. That basically he ended up hooking up with a stranger. I really didn't know what to say or do at that moment, but I could tell that he regretted it a lot and really wished that he hadn't done it. So I kept telling myself, like, you know, we could make it work. It was a one-off thing. But also I couldn't tell anybody about this because I didn't want anybody to tell me, oh, you need to leave him right now. And I also didn't want people thinking he was just a bad guy. So for a while, I pretty much told nobody about this and kept the pain all to myself while also trying to fix the situation and try to get through it. So pretty much for my birthday, I went to his house and I consoled him. I was in shock for a very long time and I couldn't process any of it. So I was like, okay, it's fine. We can stay in this relationship because I don't feel hurt. Then a month later, I did end up being in the hospital for 3 weeks. It was a very low point in my life, so I am sure you can imagine the shock that I felt when he visited me and told me that he had been micro cheating on me for the duration of our relationship. The details on that get pretty bad and I don't want to expose him, so I honestly just ended up feeling way sadder than I started. We kind of agreed to do couples therapy, but that really never ended up happening. The whole time I felt so much resentment for him, I just couldn't be nice or enjoy his company at all. But I was very scared of what would happen if we broke up. Like if my mental health would allow me to just like be okay without him and then like erase all the history that we had, or even just the fear of having to start over with somebody and experiencing the same thing or worse. We stuck together for a while and I think he was trying to make up for what he did, but it just like wasn't ever enough. Eventually it got to a point where I literally just couldn't function at all and I just felt like I was completely losing myself. I genuinely felt like I was dying. And I finally came to my senses and realized that if I cared about myself at all, then I have to leave. Once trust like that is broken, it's just like, it's almost irreversible. If you ever find yourself in a similar situation, just know it's super important to evaluate whether or not it's worth it to stay.
Get ready with me while I tell you about my toxic ex. So he was my first boyfriend. I dated him in high school. I was about 14 up until the age of 18. I was so young and very impressionable. So one day we went out for a buffet, which I thought was so nice. That was a Sunday, and then Monday he ghosted me. And so I was like, did this man like drop, you know? Like that's so unlike him. Like we text every single day. I was kind of panicking. So Tuesday morning, I called his mom. I was like, hey, like, did you hear from this guy? She was like, yeah, like he actually went home really, really late with your cousin last night. First red flag. So I went to his house and he was still asleep. And I said, hey, like, wake up. Where were you? Like, what were you doing last night? He just ghosted me fully and looked at me and then he went back to sleep, which obviously something's up. And I'm not the kind of person to check like guys' phones. But then I was like, that's really, really sus. So I was like, give me your phone. I want to see your phone. I was so insistent on seeing his phone. When I was going through his phone, I was like seeing a lot of these text messages like between him and his friend. So freaking disgusting. So before this, he actually went on a family trip. Mind you, an extended family trip. But then somehow he left the family and he insinuated to his friend that he saw midnight ballerinas. And he was literally saying to his friend, you know, like everyone stares at me because I'm considered good looking in this country. That is absolutely crazy. And then his friend said to him, yeah, you are really good looking. Anyways, as I was going through his phone, like there was so much more stuff that I found out that I was like, the fact that he's been talking to his girl best friend and like this girl best friend was sending him basically like half. Guys, let me tell you, you have your girl intuitions for a reason. You need to listen to them. Crazy thing is that when I confronted him, he did not care at all. He just looked at me. He's like, I want to go back to sleep. The audacity that this man has. Anyways, I was like crying. I'm in shock. And I'm like, tell me like you still want to be with me? I know, like so stupid, right? After what this guy did, I still wanted to be with him. I begged for this man. Begged. And he's ugly. Things escalated and it got really, really ugly. And then he kicked me out of his house. I decided to call him nonstop and say, please, I'm so sorry for confronting you like that. And then after begging this man for like nearly a week, he decided that he was going to see me. And I was like, thank you so much. And then when I saw him, he was like, obviously we're not happy. You're not happy and I'm not happy. And so we should go separate ways. But you need to be loyal to me. You need to be loyal to me because I want to see if you are not. I was so heartbroken and I wanted this man back. So
I said yes. Once I realized 2 weeks later, I was like, what the hell was I thinking? He got really, really drunk this one time. He was like, hey, do you want to dance with me tonight? And then he was like, my friends tell me that I look really good when I dance, and I know you want to dance at the club with me tonight. What normal person says that? I dated this man for 4 years, so this is a whole freaking story. So date, I don't know, 5 other toxic guys because I didn't learn my lesson.
Story time about how I found out my husband was cheating on me. My husband violently physically abused me. I left him after the fact I found out about all of the affairs he's been having for our entire marriage. And so I'm going to do a story time today on how I found out about all of the cheating. My husband and I started dating in 2019. Fast forward to 2020. I'm out of town for work for the weekend, and my husband goes to like a Western concert here in town. And my sister also happens to go to that concert, unbeknownst to my husband. He did not go alone. He took a date. And so my younger sister ended up seeing him making out with this girl at the venue. My husband then sees her because she approaches him when she sees him with another girl. And she was a minor at the time, tries to bribe her with alcohol to not tell me. Happy to report my sister took the booze and then still told me, queen behavior. Comes back, tells me, he and I start arguing about it. He's denying it. I'm already heavily gaslit. And you know, just being kind of emotionally and psychologically, like there's a lot going on already. So I'm, you know, trying to hear him out. I want to believe him. That's the hard part too. When you love someone that much, love makes you blind. You want to believe them. You know, after a few days, weeks, I don't know what it was. I believe my sister. I kick him out of my house because he lives with me. He has no money. So I kick him out of my house. I take a wonderful promotion. I move to Abilene. In that period of time, we'll do another story time on the love bombing, but he's trying very hard to get me back. Embarrassing, but I did get back with him. So we're dating. We're starting over from fresh. This is end of 2021. We start over from scratch. We're kind of dating again. I'm commuting back to the town that he lives in a lot. And I find out about another girl. She goes over to the house. I have a cheating story time up about her. She tells me, you know, that she's been in the house. She's seen my things. I, again, send it to him and I'm like, what is going on? He's like, no, that's before I started trying to pursue you again. That's in that period of time that you left, and I was hurting so bad because you were gone. As soon as I was with another girl, I realized it was you I needed. Anyways, so I knew about the cheating, and after months of him pursuing me, he assures me he's changed. He wants me, and he'll change. He'll do anything. And I believed him. I got back with him. Fast forward again, 2022. I don't remember why I was on Twitter. I wasn't a big Twitter user, but I'm scrolling on Twitter and I see a video of my husband, and it's on a girl's Twitter. She's getting off a plane on like a trip to Mexico, and my husband's in the background. This trip had happened the months prior. I just happened to be seeing it on Twitter, and so I send a screenshot to my husband. I'm like, why are you in this girl's video? Why are you in Cabo at the same time as her? And he gaslights me a lot, or he tells me a whole lie. I believe it. It was just crazy. These girls were there at the same time. We ended up getting dinner with him one night. He was there on a bachelor or boys trip or something. And again, love is blind. I believe him. I end up, you have a gross gut feeling from that. I do a deep dive later. I find out he was dating her. That was a trip he took her on, he paid for. He's been dating this young girl for a very long time. So I pack up my bags to leave again, and he catches me before I leave. Is not only very emotionally but manipulative, but physically. This happened, over a year ago. You're just finding out about it now. It was one mistake. I'm so sorry. Essentially kidnaps me, forces me to go on this very extended out of town trip with him, takes my phone, won't let me talk to my family or friends during that time. And I stayed. And that may sound crazy to you. It's crazy to me in hindsight. I just didn't feel like I had another choice at the time. So I stayed, ended up getting married to him. This whole time, I am hyper vigilant. I'm paranoid about him cheating on me. He's constantly reassuring me that he's not. So we get married in 2024, and, everything with the assault happened. I ended up leaving in January of this year, 2026. And after the fact, the floodgates kind of opened. One of my best friend, my very good friend, I met through my husband. She was friends with him first. And she was like, hey, the reason he beat me was because I saw a TikTok of one of his mistresses that led me to believe he might be cheating. So I approached him about it, and he curb stomped, beat the absolute shit out of me because of it. And so my friend knew this. I told her why he beat me, and she's like, so he's still lying to you. The fact that he's denying it while he's beating you and you're leaving us nuts, because he has been dating this girl a while. And here's kind of everything I know about her. And from there, that snowball just kept going. There were so many other women. A lot of people have been coming out now that I've left to tell me about what was going on. Unfortunately, I stayed when I was dating, so some of those people didn't feel comfortable telling me what they knew now that we were married, because they didn't. I will say I've never been the type of girl that, like, I'm not going to be mad at you for telling me the truth, right? Like, at the end of the day, I know who needs to be held accountable, and it's my absolute POS, soon-to-be ex-husband. But I get why people felt the way they did. I get why people waited to tell me. But I found out so much. I don't know how he had time to be married to me. He had so many side pieces. But yeah, that's how I found out about the cheating. It did happen when we were dating. I truly believed with my entire heart, spirit, and soul that he had changed. He was willing to change for me, and that we were happily married and monogamous in our marriage, and that was not true. So at the end of the day, love is blind. I am a lover girl, and I was so in love with my husband, and I wanted to believe him, and I was wrong. So anyways, that's it for story time.
Story time on how my ex cheated on me on his family vacation to Florida, started dating her 2 days later, and now they're engaged. I already know the whole hometown has probably been waiting for this story, because once this happened to me, everyone knew it obviously happened, because hello, they started dating 2 days later and they just all knew. But I never once spoke about it because I was so embarrassed. I was not embarrassed that I got cheated on, because ladies, getting cheated on is not embarrassing for you. It's embarrassing for the man, because at the end of the day, they're the ones that fumbled. Okay? I was so embarrassed because this happened to me now for the third time with the same girl. Yes, I'm talking, she was a slut. And I know I can't say this word out loud, so I'm gonna have to cut that. But starting off, we're gonna call her S, and we're gonna call my ex X. So yes, as some background information, that we were a whole friend group. So my best friend was dating his best friend, and then there was just a few others of us. But that's just the main thing. But yeah, so it was perfect. Now, the reason why I bring that up is because I went to prom with my best friend, and me and X were hitting it off a few days before prom, but prom is where we really hit it off, because again, I don't know when me and this man started dating, but I just know it was sometime after prom. Well, long and behold, at prom, I see S walk up to X, and his friend told me, was like, yeah, just so you know, they have hooked up, and it was 3 weeks ago. Oh my God. First of all, I wasn't even surprised, because she was a walking STD, and I know that she's been with almost every guy at the school, whatever grade they were in. She was always a part of it, because that's just the kind of person she was. So wasn't even surprised, but whatever. I was like, oh hell no, I want nothing to do with X, because I'm not trying to catch nothing. So whatever, that obviously didn't stick. Me and him start dating. But what I do know is 3 weeks into dating this man, I find out from his friend, oh, did X tell you that he's going on vacation with S? Wait, come again? So long and behold, he didn't want to tell me because he already knew how I felt about her. So he didn't want to tell me because he already knew what the fuck was going to happen. So whatever. I end up finding out from the friend, so then I'm texting him. I'm like, you have some explaining to do. And now, no guys, he was not going one-on-one vacation. Basically, X's cousin, absolute best friends. Absolute. I'm talking damn near sisters with S. Mind you, I don't like the friend either, because mind you, one of the times, and they probably don't even know this to this day that I ever found out about this, but I did. S was home wrecking one of my relationships, was at the cousin's house in the bathroom. She was on the bathroom floor with my ex, while her friend was with my ex's best friend in her bed. I don't care. You didn't personally home wreck my relationship, but you're just as bad. You're fucking gross. Should have been red flag number 1 for me. Every time I would try to bring up I know you're gonna cheat on me, which yes, maybe I did manifest this, which is where I learned from my high school mistakes. Obviously, you have to live and learn from horrible things that happen to you. But I learned you gotta give yourself time to heal. I literally started dating this man like 5 months after I found out my ex had a second phone. This man had a second phone. I found so many girls in that second phone that I was getting cheated on. More than two hands. Okay, we just gotta put it out there. So obviously I opened up to X about this, which was my mistake because he used that second phone tactic to actually cheat on me in Florida, which we're going to get into that in a second. But again, so this man cried to me drunk, cried to his mom, cried to his friends about how he would never want to hurt me because I'm so beautiful and I don't deserve the pain that I've gone through and blah, 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 blah. Put it on his dead dad's grave. He would not cheat on me. Oh my God. Do you not give a flying fuck about your family, bro? So all that stuff happened. So of course I'm getting all this reassurance. I'm feeling a little bit better. Well, then S goes up to one of my friends in the high school bathroom and is like, please tell Kylie, like, nothing is gonna happen with X. Nothing is gonna happen with X. Like, I know she's probably worried. So my friend's like, you need to tell her that yourself. And obviously I have this girl blocked on everything. Literally everything. I literally think I had her blocked on school email too. That's how serious this shit was, because I want nothing to literally do with you. Like, when I don't like someone, you will not have access to my life unless you take the time out of your day to make a second account to see my stuff, or you take the time out of your day to search it up on like one of your friends' phones that's not blocked. It's getting in the way. So again, she literally had no access to my life. So I ended up unblocking her off of Snapchat. She texted me. She's like, I'm so sorry with what happened with, your previous situations that I home wrecked. She didn't necessarily say that, but she basically was just like, I'm sorry for everything. Like, nothing's gonna happen. So it got to the point where I was just so like insecure about this trip that he just wasn't even gonna go. He was like, I'm not gonna go, or you can come with. I'm like, I don't want to be in a room with S and the friend. I quite frankly don't want to. Plus I work, and why the fuck would I ever choose a man over money? You gotta be kidding me if you think I'm ever going to choose a man over money. So I was like, no. And then I was like, I'm not going to have you miss out on your vacation because of my insecurities. Like, no, girl, just go. Like, I already went into this trip knowing I was going to get cheated on. So I think that's why I just simply just didn't A, talk about it, or B, just like didn't really care. But we'll get into that. Oh, because I did care I got cheated on, but you'll see what I mean. Basically, here comes the trip. I was a team member at the time. I was opening up saute. So I was cutting veggies. I was doing stuff like that. This was before open. I have both my AirPods in. He calls me while he's at the airport. I'm talking, I could hear S so loud in the AirPods. I don't know if it's AirPods that just make everything louder, but I'm talking, I could hear her louder than anyone else in the airport. I'm talking, I couldn't even hear the mom this loud, the sister this loud, the brother this loud. I couldn't hear nobody this loud, bro. So I'm immediately like, why is she so loud? I'm instantly tweaking. Oh my God. So that's like, okay, my phone's like overheating and this video is getting way too long. So I'm going to make a part 2 when my phone cools down, and just because this video is also getting really long. So yeah.
I was engaged for 6 months when I caught my fiance cheating on me through our Ring front door camera, and this is the story time. So at this time, I was 25 years old. I had been engaged for 6 months, and my fiance was 29. He was actually turning 30 as this whole thing happened. And to celebrate his 30th birthday, I took us both on a trip to Beverly Hills. We had a good trip, and we got back on a Sunday evening, and I went to work the next day. On Mondays, I went into the office and he would work from home. So I go into the office, I have a day at work, and when I got home, my house felt weird. I felt like I could tell someone had been in my house. But I'd been cheated on before, so I was telling myself, calm down, like, relax. But you can just tell when something is off. Like, my purse had been put up in the closet, which was weird. And I just had the feeling that someone had been inside my home. Something important to note is that we had just moved into this home. It was a 4-bedroom rental, and we had been there for less than 30 days. We had just moved in, and my fiance had decided that he wanted to install a front door camera and a security system. So we were still on the 30-day free trial of Blink. And he had installed the cameras. I actually never even had the password the first couple of weeks because like I didn't care that much about home security. I feel like that's like a man's job. So at this point in time, when I got home, I didn't even have the passwords to our front door camera system. But when I got home that night and I felt like someone had been in my house, I was just telling myself to relax and to like not be paranoid. And so I just kind of ignored it for the night. I asked him like, what did you do today? And he was like, I just worked from home. And I was like, is that it? And he was like, yeah. So I just kind of tried to ignore it for the time being, but I could not sleep all night. Like my intuition and my gut was telling me someone has been inside my house. So I was sitting in bed awake all night just thinking about this and I couldn't get it off of my mind. So the next day after work, we were going to the gym and I decided to wait until he was in the car driving. And then I asked him, I was like, oh, by the way, can I have the password to the Blink app? You know, at this point, I'm not expecting really to find anything because we had just installed the cameras, but I just asked and he gave me the password as he was driving, but he was like stumbling to give it to me, but it was the same password that he used for everything. So that was a little weird. So I log into the Blink app and I see a video almost immediately. It was like in the thread. And it was a woman who was walking into my house. And I watched the video one time. It was like 6 seconds. And I see the door open and this blonde lady enter my home. So he's still driving and I ask him, who is this? And he was like, who is what? And I was like, who is this blonde lady who came in our house at 12:30? And he was like, no one. And when I tell you guys, it was so quick. Before you know it, he had pulled over the truck. He deleted the video, and when I refreshed the Blink app, like it was gone so fast. This all happened in like 30 seconds and my head was just spinning. But I'm not dumb. So when I saw the video for the first time, I had immediately just taken a screenshot. So I don't have the video, but I have the thumbnail of the video and I have the timestamps that the video was recorded. Like, damn, did you really think that you were gonna gaslight me into thinking that I made up seeing that in my head? So at this point in time, my head is like spinning. I'm just so confused because I had like no suspicions that my fiance would ever cheat on me. He was like the last guy I would have ever betted would have actually cheated. I had just taken pre-workout as well, so we were like on the way to the gym and I was like, turn the truck around. I'm not getting on the treadmill right now. So he turns around, we go home. He's telling me that no one entered the house. He is standing 10 toes down that no one entered the house. And I was like, I literally saw the door open and someone walk into the house. So why are you trying to tell me that no one came? I was like, did the dogs open the door? So we got back home and I just got in my car and I drove straight to his mom's house. Because I didn't have any family in the city that we lived in and I didn't know where else to go. So I just drove to his mom's house. And if you're acting wrong, your mama's gonna know. That day too, that Monday when I was at work, he had texted me in the afternoon saying, I'm washing the sheets. And that was already suspicious and weird because like, when do you ever wash the sheets? I do. But was so interesting is that the timestamp on the video camera footage shows this woman entering my house. In 30 minutes, it shows her leaving my house. I can see her back. And the timestamp when she was leaving, he sent me the text message like 6 minutes later saying that he was going to wash the sheets. So he would not admit to having someone in the house. I was like, is this your aunt? Is this a real estate agent? Is this a salesperson? Is this a coworker? But no, he was adamant for the first 3 to 4 days that no one entered the house. Eventually, he did confess that he met someone online, I guess, and she came over, but he was pretty adamant that they didn't do anything and that they were just talking for 30 minutes. I was like, if y'all were just talking, then give me her phone number and I will call her to confirm. But he really didn't want to do that. And again, I just never expected this guy to cheat on me, which I guess you never expect it. But I was just thinking to myself, like, who knows this man the best? And before me, he was in an 8-year-long relationship. So I was thinking to myself, like, that girl knows this man. So for the first time, I reached out to her. I sent her a message, and she responded to me basically saying to run for the hills. She was like, I was with him for 8 years. He took all of my 20s from me, and he is a serial cheater. Like, he cheated on me so many times, again and again. He would lie. He would say he would never do it, and he kept doing it. And so at that moment, I mean, obviously that was all of the answers I needed. I just didn't know that that was something he did. And it was very disappointing because his mom and sister, when I drove over to his mom's house after first seeing the video, they both like adamantly, full-heartedly defended him. And they were like, he would never do this. He would never do this. And it's crazy because his ex-girlfriend was like, no, his mom and sister know all about his cheating escapades and they're well aware. They've been involved with his drama for years. So that was disappointing that like his family would lie to me. His sister told me, woman to woman, we will find out what happened. She's a religious woman, like, So I basically told my fiance, like, my decision is made. I'm going to be leaving. But the only thing that you could possibly get me to stay is if you get me in touch with this woman who you say nothing happened. Like, let me talk to her. If you're going to stand on that's the truth, then what is the problem if I talk to her? And it was so funny. Like, I don't know if he paid someone or what, but I get a call from this phone number. And it's this girl's voice, but it's like a voice like this. Like, it's literally so high. And I was like, who are you? And it was this person. I don't know if it was the girl who was lying for him. This girl, no, she was like an older lady. She must have been 45 minimum. And she was in this high-pitched voice. It just sounded so fake to me. And so that phone call did absolutely nothing, obviously. So I packed all of my things. I quit my job of 5 years. That same weekend, I put all of my things in a storage unit. I was in a 4-bedroom house, moved everything into a storage unit, and moved back to the city that I'm from. And yeah, I left, and that was the end of my engagement. Another crazy and fucked up part of this is that when I was trying to leave, my fiance was trying to stop me from leaving. And so his mom took both of my dogs and held them hostage at her house for like 3 days. And then his sister came into my house during that time, cornered me in my own living room and was like, give me back the ring. And I was like, the fuck, take the ring and your nasty ass brother. I do want to say that my fiance was honestly very good to me. He treated me really good. He always has. He always would have. There was no emotional abuse or anything wrong with our relationship, but there was the infidelity, and that's the only reason that we broke up and that I left. But this video is not to dog on him in any way. I just wanted to share the video of how he got caught. I don't think cheating makes you a 100% bad person in itself. But I do think that I have the choice if I want to be with someone who's going to lie to me or not. And I made the choice to leave, and I'm happy I did. But I do have love for him. I think he's a great guy. I hope he learns from this. I hope he helps himself and heals whatever he needs to so he doesn't do this again, because he is a good guy who deserves love. It's just not going to be with me. Okay, so here's the screenshot that I took. You can see this lady was arriving at she was leaving at 1:30 p.m. She arrived at 12:56 p.m. You can see her walking in, and there I was leaving at 7:58 a.m. So if anyone knows this lady from San Antonio, it doesn't matter, but that's who came into my house.
She made a journal specifically to talk herself out of what she already knew. She had his location on Life 360. She could see him at the bar on New Year's Eve, the bar he had specifically told her he would not go to because she was not allowed to go to bars. She had called him 50 times. He declined every one. The girl he had supposedly blocked was at the same bar. Her gut was telling her exactly what was happening, and she spent 5 pages in a journal arguing with her gut. The gut was right the whole time. That is the specific quality of knowing before you know. 3 of these 4 stories have it. The woman in Sydney says the second he mentioned the new coworker, she had a feeling she could not name or explain. Monique says she had a feeling that night before she confirmed anything. Ava made the journal. The gut feeling in each case arrived before any evidence, before any confrontation, before any confirmation. It arrived as a specific discomfort that the mind tried to talk the body out of, and the body would not budge. The Sydney story is still unfolding, which means the ending is not written yet. But what exists in part 1 is a complete portrait of what a person believes they are choosing when they choose someone. He sat next to her on a bus in Greece. No agenda, no setup, just a conversation with a stranger from Detroit. 6 months of silence. Then he messaged asking for restaurant recommendations in Sydney. For a full week in Sydney, he saw her every single day. Then more cities. Then back to the US and still calling her every day. Sending flowers, sending money with notes saying go get a nice lunch. He bought her a flight to Seattle for his work trip and told her it was completely up to her whether she used it. She used it. He asked her to be his girlfriend on that trip. During the relationship, he shared his location before they were even official. He was never secretive about his phone. He introduced her to his Middle Eastern family, which in that context is not a casual gesture. You do not bring someone home to that kind of family unless it is serious. She made 10 trips to the US. He came to Sydney 7 or 8 times. They met in South America, Asia, Europe. The travel alone, 24 hours from Sydney to Detroit each way, represents a specific and repeating choice. You cannot sustain that kind of logistics casually. You have to actually want to be there. Then, in May 2025, a new coworker joined his team. And the second he mentioned her, something shifted. She cannot explain what it was. A tone, a frequency, something in how the name landed in the conversation. She just felt it. Part 2 has not arrived yet, but whatever comes next, the context is that someone built something real across years and continents and considerable effort and may have taken a single new coworker and made the whole thing unrecognizable. The gut feeling in this particular relationship is harder to dismiss than in a shorter or newer connection, because this is not someone who fell for a persona and never got to test it. She fell for someone who showed up repeatedly across real distance and real time and real cost, which is what makes the feeling in May 2025 so specifically unsettling. It is not the anxiety of someone who has never been given reason to trust. It is the alarm of someone who has been given every reason to trust and who senses, without being able to say how, that something has changed. Monique's story does not have a part 2. He had invited her to the gym, then uninvited her, said he was going with his friend instead. Planet Fitness closes at 10. She knew this. She also knew what it meant when his location was still showing the gym at 10:30, then 11. She called twice. Voicemail both times. He texted, "Going through a lot. Just need to clear my mind." She let it go. She was praying for him. She said this plainly. She was literally praying for this man's mental health while he was out. He came home at 2:30 in the morning and started being affectionate. She gave him the cold shoulder and went to sleep. The next morning he offered to drive her to work because he knew she hated driving. She got in the car. The car smelled like so much cologne. The kind of amount that is not personal grooming, it is coverage. She rolled all the windows down at 6 in the morning in the cold and just felt the air. She went to work. She told them there was a death in the family and went to her aunt's house. She started crying before she finished the sentence. She said, "He is cheating on me." Her aunt called her an Uber. By the time she got there, she had already texted him. "I know what you did." He confirmed it at the park. His explanation was that nothing happened. She just wanted him to help her lose weight. Monique heard this. She stood up. She took her phone. She said she was done and started walking. He cried. He got on his knees. She told him he could go to the gym girl, go to a hotel, go to his mama. She did not care, but he needed to get out of her face. He called and texted for days after. He offered her his car, as if that was the specific thing that would make it make sense. She said she was straight. She has not been in a relationship since, which is its own kind of data. Sometimes what a betrayal takes is not just the relationship, but the appetite for that specific kind of risk, at least for a while. What she said at the park is worth its own beat. The craziest thing I'm about to do is leave you. She said this because he had told her not to do anything crazy. She defined crazy as departure, and then she left. Not to throw things, not to confront anyone, not to negotiate or take the car. Just to go. Some people know the moment they confirm it that there is no version of staying, and the knowing is instant and clean. She was one of those people. Ava's situation took longer, and the longer it took, the more it cost. She was 19. They moved in together after 1 month of dating. She was in love in the specific way you are when it is the first time and it feels total, and you are too young to have experienced yet that those feelings can attach to the wrong person just as completely as the right one. She left for 2 weeks over Christmas. The moment she was on the trip, he stopped calling. Occasional texts, nothing more. Life 360 had him at a bar on New Year's Eve when he told her he was going to play video games at his friend's house. The girl she had a bad feeling about before was at the same bar that night. She called 50 times. He started declining the calls. She wrote the journal. He came home the next morning and texted saying he fell asleep at his friend's. She had the screenshot showing he had slept at the apartment. He then said he thought they should break up. She begged. He stayed. She came home a week later and went through his phone. New women on Snapchat, Instagram DMs where he had tried to take a different girl on a date and gotten rejected. Messages to someone who never responded. Then that night, the girl called on FaceTime. He grabbed the phone hard enough that it surprised her. He deleted the messages, but she went for the recently deleted, and he grabbed the phone again. She went to take a shower. He came into the bathroom while she was standing there and started to tell her. She already knew. She had known for 2 weeks in another country. The knowing did not make the confirmation easier. She was sobbing in the shower, which is one of the most ordinary things grief does. It arrives at the vulnerable moment, while you are standing somewhere exposed, and it does not wait for a better time. She went back to him that night. She says she is not proud of this. It is worth holding that statement with some care, because going back to someone immediately after a confirmed betrayal is not stupidity. It is disorientation. The person who hurt her was also the only person in that apartment, the person she had built her entire daily life around at 19. The mind does not always know how to separate those things in one night. She woke up a month later, moved out, got kicked out by her parents, was homeless for a period. The exit was real. It just had costs that kept arriving. The restaurant story operates on a different axis from the other 3. She caught him. She had the pictures. She walked up, confirmed it, kicked him out, packed his stuff, called it done. That reads cleanly. Then she discloses she was also on a date that same night. The man she was with had to leave early for an emergency. Had he not, she would have been the one seen. The only difference between her situation and his, she says, was that her date left before his did, and she was the one who did not get caught. The both sides of this is the whole thing. Her feeling of betrayal was real in the moment. What he was doing in that restaurant was a real betrayal of what she understood the relationship to be. But the structure she was operating inside was also not what she thought they had agreed on, at least not from her end. Two people can both be doing the same thing, and one can still be the one who gets caught and carries the consequences. What it disrupts is the clean version of this story. The wronged person and the person who wronged her. Nobody in that restaurant was in an uncomplicated position. What runs through the first 3 stories is worth naming directly. The gut feeling arrives before the evidence, and it is right. This is not a narrative device. It is a thing the body does when it has been close to someone long enough to know their patterns, and one day the patterns change. The man she trusted for 2 years did not smell like that at 6 a.m. for no reason. The FaceTime calls did not start coming from a blocked number for no reason. The new coworker did not produce that specific feeling in her stomach for no reason. The body was reading something the mind was still trying to argue against. The gut feeling question also goes the other way, and it is worth saying, not every gut feeling is accurate. And the gut can also produce anxiety that is about old wounds rather than current evidence. Someone who was cheated on before may read ordinary silence as betrayal. Someone with anxiety may build a case out of nothing. That is real, and it matters. But in 3 out of 4 of these specific situations, the gut was entirely correct. The body clocked something before the mind had built any case. That does not mean every uncomfortable feeling in a relationship is proof of something. It means that uncomfortable feeling at least deserves to be taken seriously as information, rather than argued out of before it has had a chance to be looked at. What you do with the gut feeling before you have confirmation is a different question. And these 4 women handled it differently. Ava wrote 5 pages. Monique prayed and waited. The woman in Sydney named it quietly and let it sit. All of those are recognizable responses to the same position, trying to stay inside something that feels real and good while something in you is insisting it may not be what it appears to be. The craziest thing I'm about to do is leave you. That is what Monique said, standing in the park. She turned and started walking. She did not look back. Some exits are exactly that fast and that clean. Some exits are a shower, and then one night of going back, and then a month of waking up slowly, and then a move, and then homeless for a while, and then eventually solid ground. There is no right speed for getting out. There is just the moment you actually get out, and what it took to get there, and what getting there cost, and then whatever comes after all of that.